Wake up. It's time for Primal Scream.
From mics to the mixer, from the mixer to the Roland, from the Roland to the headphones.
Oh.
So that's why whatever I do to the Roland, you would hear.
Great.
You know what, though? This conversation that you guys just had, it could be like a rendition of Who's On First. You know, like when this, and it sounded like
Who's
it
on
was
first?
like, Who's
What?
on first?
What? No, what's on second?
Who's
What's
on
on
first? Like,
That's a good
like,
one.
yeah, I put this one over here and then there. Like, oh,
He's the techno guru.
Which
I
is
try-
not
good to
saying much.
have a tech.
And I just try to bring in the talent. That's all my job is.
You know, most
Yeah,
important
you
job.
do a
there.
good
I
job.
would totally agree, Tammy.
Yes.
All right, you ready to go?
Boom.
All right, welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt,
I am Todd.
and today we have Tammy Jason.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, you've
Very
heard about her.
excited.
We've talked about her before.
Yep.
Ooh.
Country legend. Well,
Ooh.
And
you
she
will
is
be. You will be.
One
engaged
day.
to that
God, he's a sexy beast.
motherfucker, man. I'm telling
He's
you.
a sexy beast.
Is that the word around town?
Love that.
You know
Chuck
what? We
Kavanaugh.
didn't tell Tammy we were going to say that, but we do think Chuck is a sexy beast,
We do.
primarily because
Sharp dressed man.
he's a sharp-dressed man, and I just love the way he looks at the world and the way he kind of attacks the world and
He's got
how
a good spirit.
vigorous he is. I
He's a
mean,
good man.
he's not one of those guys who sits home and is comfortable on the couch watching The Family Guy. I mean, he's
Actually,
just
he
kinda-
almost doesn't own a couch. So that's
Wow.
why he doesn't sit on one.
You have to stay active if you have nothing to sit on. That's a good. That's like Confucius says.
Wow.
He who has no couch.
From
is a
Todd,
busy
everybody,
man.
from Todd. Beautiful words. Beautiful words.
I stole them from Tammy. It's okay.
Oh,
I'll give
all
her. I'll give her a proper.
All right, Todd.
Yes.
Today is.
Did you look at your?
I didn't. We're going
Well, you
completely.
should.
We're going completely honest, right?
Yep.
I should know this.
It's what's the month?
It's March.
Good for you.
It's March, and you want to know why I know this? Because I started CrossFit in March, and my effing lower back
Oh.
is not hurt. It's really tired.
yeah.
It wanted to go to sleep earlier.
I'd love for you to stop
In
avoiding
fact, it's
the.
already asleep, probably.
It might be a little asleep right now.
Can we stop avoiding the question? You can answer.
Okay,
what the
it's
day is.
March 14th.
Hey, buddy, that was a nice try. It's 15th, but you still lose.
Close.
Close, but absolutely no cigar.
I'll tell you what, if I had a Chuck Kavanaugh watch,
That's right.
I'd know it. Oh,
I
it is the
might be
15th.
able to help you. I might be able
I
to
think
help
Chuck's even get tired of that. If I had a Chuck Kavanaugh watch by the 5th episode, get
Listen,
a Chuck Kavanaugh watch. So we have to
Listen,
stop saying
Chuck is
that.
not going to get tired of anything that we say because he's a sexy bitch.
Okay.
And if he tells me that he's getting sick of it, I might have to change my opinion.
Oh.
No, but I really like. I watched again for the first time. Did you get that?
Oh, that was great.
I watched it again for the first time. Rise Above Leathers. Rise
the
Above.
video.
Yeah.
Rise Above Leathers. Oh God, I thought that was just such an awesome video. I showed my wife. Actually, she was watching it for the first time. And I said, isn't that cool? I mean, they shot it, but then they made it look like it was old-timey video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so neat.
the effects.
Enough about that. Enough about Chuck.
Yeah.
He's
Been on
tired.
twice
He's old.
already.
He's
Is he going to
old.
be on a third time?
I've had him.
He's old news.
That's right.
That's right.
Once
He is
you've
old.
been there, yes.
That's right. Tammy, jeez.
All right, Todd. What's going on in the world of us? What's going on in the world?
I don't have a lot of current events right now.
Nothing
We're
current
still
events?
working on that plane. They're thinking now that plane that's missing is a terrorist attack, is what they're assuming because they have no other.
Have
thing
you heard about this plane?
Yeah, and I actually had I would want to say a social faux pas yesterday when I was
Oh.
flying through Chicago. I got on the plane. The guy next to me missed his first flight, and he was sitting next to me. And poor guy, he's on his way to Singapore. And so, anyways, he said that to me. I full well knew he was flying into Hong Kong and all this kind of stuff, right in the heat of where all this stuff
Right.
is going,
Yeah.
whatever, in Malaysia. So anyways, so he's talking whatever, and then what do? I start talking about this plane that they can't find over there. And I'm like, can you believe their air traffic control can't come? And he's flying over there right now.
Why are your eyes like saucers?
Yeah.
Why are you so worried all
You
of a
look like you're
sudden?
sweating bullets, pal.
Exactly.
Did I make you nervous? Do you like this conversation?
Bad. Oh my God. I'm like, I'll take it back. I swear.
It's current events.
You know what? It would have been great if you were like, I heard it was a UFO. It was either a UFO or there was a terrible storm and it just sucked the plane down into the water and it was so terrible they can't find any wreckage.
But my question
and just terrify him.
wasn't it like Lost? It's like Lost.
It's still lost.
They have
still
nothing.
lost.
nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
they when I say they, I have this little app on my phone, Stitcher. And so I get breaking news alerts. And one of the news alerts was this guy saying, "And today we believe that we have some facts about that missing plane." And they went on to say that they believe hitchhikers took it.
Hitchhikers.
Because there are two
And they must have
passports are really
right.
stolen.
They're stolen.
But they have no clue. They go,
Yes.
"We are suspecting that hijackers
Yeah.
took it." Why would you even say that? Because you there's no proof that that's what happened. They could be in the water.
Yeah, and I am so intrigued by this entire thing because of the mystery around how unknowing the air traffic control between those two countries is, and that we can't find this thing on planet Earth. I can find my iPhone in the world, and
That's
they can't
true.
find this thing.
Right.
So I read an article why they were trying to explain how they could possibly veer off course that much and not know about it and whatever. And they said that there was a plane crash over in near China that they fell asleep. They were hunched over the
console, the joysticks?
console.
Yeah.
The pilots fell asleep because of the carbon monoxide or something was wrong. And
Because they allow
flew,
smoking.
yeah, apparently. Well, it's an international flight. You never know. But they fell asleep, and it was on autopilot. So they didn't actually know that they were not flying the plane until it basically ran out of gas.
And if you've ever seen the Tom Hanks movie,
It could happen.
they can be way off course.
and you don't even know it.
And you
Was
don't
there a
even know it.
volleyball on this flight?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wilson. Well, it makes you think of we had Paul Wellstone, senator from Minnesota, die in a plane crash, and I think there was a golfer that died too, where they were in a private plane and they were cruising along, and something happened like that, where something happened with the filter. They got something incorrect with the air, and everybody in the whole plane was dead, and the plane's just cruising along on autopilot, and they either have
everybody's dead.
and everybody's dead on it because everybody, and it wasn't I think they say they all just usually pass out. You just go to sleep. You don't even know what's happening.
That's right.
And next thing you know, it just and they think they were over Montana somewhere, so they knew that their path was going to be somewhere where nobody would get hurt. Otherwise, they can
And
go.
then they shot it down, or what?
It just crashed, or they can shoot them down if they're going to be going over populated areas and they have worries about things like that. So no, this just crashed. But no, there have been plenty of times when
And they said that the transponder was actually turned off.
Oh,
There's-
on the Malaysia flight.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
there was levels of power that transponder is linked to, and it was completely off. So my question, and then this is one of the comments that I said to that poor guy sitting next to me in the plane, was I'm like, you'd think that they'd have the transponder somewhere in the fuselage or something like that nobody could get to it. And he's like, yeah, you're right. The look on the guy's face.
That's awesome.
Do you need to get up and use the restroom, sir?
Nope, I'm good.
Nope, I already peed my pants. Thanks for bringing that up.
I already finished.
Poor guy,
Hopefully
yeah.
I'll dry by.
Well, there is a group of people. There is a group that can find the transponder no matter where you hide it in the plane. They're called aliens.
And they've already found it. They
I just
planted
love it.
there.
The right away, that's where people went. I like
Really?
that. Though.
Right away.
Right away, people were like, well, if it's, because you like this transponder thing, how would anybody know?
Yeah.
Unless somebody turned it off, and supposedly it's a hidden thing. And so to me, it's probably to me terrorism. But again, then you think about where is it then? So they turned the transponder off. Some country or somewhere allowed them to land with 200 something people. 4 Americans are on there. You would think that somebody would have some kind of clue, unless they landed in a jungle strip somewhere where there's no people, no cell phones. I guess that could go as well. It goes to that like 9/11 conspiracy where the plane that hit the Pentagon, you don't see any plane fuselage. You don't see any plane stuff at all.
There's no wings. Are we going to go into 9/11 conspiracy theory?
No, I'm just saying that the hard part for me is I saw the pictures too, and you can't see any plane.
Right.
But then you have to stop and say, okay, so what they do with 250 people
Yes.
and a full plane? They just take them off somewhere and gas them all?
And
I mean,
you
come
know
on.
what? I'm too suspicious of everything. I don't actually
Yes.
subscribe to all conspiracy theories, but I don't trust anybody. I barely trust my kids.
No, you're only
Right.
as good as the news or the details that they're telling you.
Exactly.
You don't know
and
all the
they're wrong
details.
half the time.
So when people throw out that argument, well, what? Oh, really? Oh, really? That happened? Well, then what happened to the 200 passengers? Who the fuck told you there was 200 passengers on the plane? Did you see them? Did you
Yes.
see 200 people board that fucking plane?
No.
Oh, the government's telling you there was 200 people on. So just because that plane crashed or went down is not to say who told you they were on there. These people did. There's no family
looking
members.
in a
There's
very
not-
narrow
That's
way.
a
There's
really good conspiracy
There's not 200
theory.
or 300 family members saying, "Where are my
Right.
Where's my dad?" I didn't see any of that stuff back at 9/11. I didn't see any of that stuff. I mean, I saw there was tons of people saying, looking for their loved ones who had worked in the towers, but I never truly saw, besides maybe one family, and that family was really spotlighted because they received the call from the guy that said, "Let's roll." Remember, and then
Flight
Bush, and then
93.
Bush, and then Bush really used that "Let's roll" fucking slogan like a douche.
Oh god, it makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about it.
So don't slam Bush. Tammy Jason did not slam Bush because we don't want the same fallout
My
that happened with
country
the
music lovers.
Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
I don't want that to fall out on Tammy Jason.
It could be a career ender.
You can say one. I mean, I remember saying an email.
God, that sucks. Doesn't that kind of suck?
Yes, it does.
terrible.
It's horrible. I mean, nobody deserves anything like that. I mean, they all have their own views. Everybody has their own views.
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, like,
To make a simple statement like,
yeah,
we're
and
embarrassed
we
that
don't
he
know,
comes from the United
We don't know if
from
she was
Texas.
drinking. We don't know if there was anything behind. We
Yeah.
don't know. Like, they just said something, and they were in England when they said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. So it's like,
Oh, I thought they were. I thought
when
they were
in
doing
Rome,
a concert.
No, they're
the
in
United States.
they're in London.
when in England, like, they kind of had to play to the crowd.
Yeah,
in a
and
way.
I always, when I'm in England, I'll say stuff like, "Just throw another shrimp on the barbie,"
In England, that's Australia. Shit,
and that's why
you
they
would
look
get
at
a lot-
me.
you
And
would
that's why
get
they
a
look at me
lot of
crazy
shit.
when I'm in England.
They're like, you're a
Those
foreigner.
Bastards! You're such a stupid American. Let's throw another shrimp on the barbie, eh?
Well, Charles and I actually were at
Stop.
my first NFL game a few months ago.
How'd you like?
Oh, yeah, he told
who'd
us
you
about
see?
that.
Who'd you watch?
I saw the Texans and the Raiders play.
Okay.
Raiders are Charles's favorite
Yeah.
team.
Did you
Chuck likes
enjoy
the
that?
Raiders.
Did you enjoy the
You know,
atmosphere?
I got to tell you,
Be honest.
Okay, being Canadian originally, we have the CFL, and not knocking the CFL, but it's cold and the stadiums are horrible. There's nothing going on at these games. I go to this NFL game in Texas. I am telling you, I love going to NFL
really?
games. It was a blast, and then both Bush Senior and Junior were at the game.
Well, yeah, weren't they? Wasn't
It was
weren't they
Veterans
owners?
Day-
Didn't
Veterans
they own
Day
it
or
at
something.
at one point?
No, I think they own part of the Texans, the baseball team.
Oh, my bad.
Not the
bad.
football
Not
team.
the
But you
football
know
team.
what? You're right, though. NFL football games are an absolute blast to go to. And people give me a hard
I've
time.
never been
because
to one.
I'm a Niners fan, and the Seahawks won this year, but I got to go see the Niners play in the Seahawks stadium. That stadium, again, just astounding
You know
how
what?
awesome
how,
it is.
How sad is that? A GD foreigner goes to a football game, our national pastime,
And what?
and I still haven't gone to one.
Oh,
What?
It's
yeah.
kind of sick.
I know.
I haven't been
You're
to
a virgin?
if I ever go, it'll pop my cherry. Wham! That just happened on the.
So
on
my
the
so
screen.
my son, my youngest son, has been to 3 NFL
Yeah,
games.
but let
and
me
you
just
haven't
say,
been
there are definite pros and cons.
you don't
to
like
going,
shit like that. So why would you even go to one?
Okay, but Tammy doesn't know that. So let
Okay,
me explain
sorry.
the world according to Matt.
Okay.
Gotta lean back for this
Yeah,
one.
I
Jeez,
gotta get comfortable.
better start drinking something.
One, I don't like large crowds.
Oh,
Obviously, you
that could
do
be a problem.
because you're a performer and you like
Yes,
that stuff.
That could be a problem.
So that didn't factor in when you went to this football game. Number two, I've been
80,000
to
people. 80,000.
That's how many were at the. Okay,
And that's not the biggest
I
crowd. in
feel
the
like that
NFL.
guy. I feel like that guy on the plane. You should watch. I'm getting nervous right now. You just told me
It's a
how many
skill.
people were there.
Yeah.
80,000. Piss. smells like R. Kelly sheets in here.
Oh, God. That's just too much.
I had to
That's
take it
so
from Macklemore.
dumb.
I took it from Macklemore.
Okay. God.
I kind of like him.
We were staying
Anyway.
classy for a little while.
All right, all right, back to me. Back to me for a second. Come
Please.
on. I know we
go
have a
right-
guest, but let's
I was
talk
saying,
about me.
God forbid we interview the country star. You go right ahead.
I know it.
It's all about Matt. I know.
Thank you.
I got
See,
it.
Tammy's
I'm
on
picking it up.
She understands
She's
how it
met
works.
me. She's known me for 30 minutes. And
It's
we
clear.
are fast friends.
That's right.
One, I don't like crowds. I'm even the people I work with, they're like, hey, you want to come to my birthday party? I'm like, how many people are going to be there? I really don't like crowds. I don't even like to go to my family reunions.
Oh.
And that sounds like a joke, but it's really not a joke.
But you've gone to baseball games with me and the kids.
Yeah. But okay.
Should
so
we leave? Is this too big of a
so
crowd?
one more person.
there's a reason why there's only 4 chairs in this room.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
We had to share a microphone the other day, and I almost killed him.
It was really uncomfortable.
It was kind of uncomfortable.
The Evan Stock band was in here, and they're really great. A local young band, and it was awful to share a mic. I hated it.
I am fairly proprietary.
Yeah.
Speaking of killing somebody, when we were driving here,
Yeah. Charles, did he do something?
No, he held my hand. He was a fantastic gentleman. But the people beside us were about to kill each other. The girl almost jumped out of the truck when they were fighting. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She's just giving it to him and then literally opens up the door. We're like in traffic and opens up the door and looks like she was going to jump out. And then like we're letting them go ahead and then they're driving ahead and you could see the door start opening and she was obviously threatening to jump
Why
out.
does the Canuck get all the experiences?
You don't know if she's a Canuck.
Wait a second. What isn't that
I
mean? Isn't that
am.
slang
You
for
are a
Canadian?
Canuck. Oh.
Canuck.
Canuck.
A.
Aye. Aye.
But
On
now
the Bobby.
you sound Australian
Wrong
again.
A. Wrong A.
Listen, I can either do an Irish pirate or I can do
An Australian pirate. I don't know.
All right. Those are my 2.
So that means you're from.
Canada.
So a Canuck is just Canadian.
Yes.
I thought you were from a certain
See?
province. I'm
I'm
sorry.
okay.
I thought it was a certain area.
A Canuck. We do have a hockey team called the Canucks.
Canucks. Okay.
But yes, the Canuck is a general slang term for us Canadians.
You
Do
know,
you like that, or
for a
is
second there-
is it not a nice thing to say?
we are. Well, no, we find everything funny.
Oh.
So we'll go with that.
Canadians have they got the best
Listen,
comedians.
we
just
got
like,
2 rules
whatever.
on this podcast. One, don't make me laugh while I'm drinking.
Oh.
And 2, don't make me laugh while I'm eating.
You may
don't
be in
eat-
trouble
I don't eat
because
very often,
she is going to make us laugh, I think. So you might be in trouble.
I'm really enjoying you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really enjoying you.
That's
I think
good.
you are a special
It's
lady.
fun.
Oh, thank you. You should come up to Canada. We're pretty much all like
Ooh,
You know what?
Vancouver. We're
I told
skiing.
my lady about the Winterfest. The only bad part about Winterfest, the only downer, happens during winter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it'll be a bad thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of downers up there during winter.
But that sounds like
They
it's
make
awesome.
a lot of babies, though.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. People are born in the fall. Yes.
Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. I'm
Well,
born in
see-
October. So
Okay. Well, see, people are talking about how our winter, we're going to see a huge influx of kids
yeah.
here in the fall because this winter was so long and so cold.
Does that say something about the terrible like TV programs that we're on? Like, hey, I don't want to watch Lost. I don't want to watch Amazing Race. Let's go screw.
Yeah.
Does that
Probably.
say something?
Yeah.
Do you get good television?
Well, we have, 2 choices. We can watch CBC News or hockey. And so basically,
I'm glad I wasn't drinking
yeah,
beer when you said that.
there's 3 periods in hockey. And so you either in the first period you go and,
Get it on.
get warm.
Oh,
or
get
you-
warm. Nice.
like that friction? It is friction.
Hey, lady.
And that's it. And then that's it. It's hockey's over. You got a couple brewskis. It's all done. So,
Wow.
it's pretty cool. I mean, I love hockey, so
Well, we've gotten
big-
more.
You do.
We
I love hockey.
we have. You should try Sauce Hockey. Go to their website. They do clothing.
We're going to write it down.
sauce hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah, sauce. Have you ever heard the term sauce for hockey? Like hockey
No.
players talk about the sauce. Have it's
A really cool. A very
No.
cool.
I get to teach
I have
the
dated
Canucks
hockey
something.
players. I have no idea about the sauce.
Sauce allegedly.
Maybe we
is-
have a Canadian translation for the sauce.
Probably.
I don't know.
But sauce is supposed to be kind of like a smooth,
when you
cool.
when you pass the puck
Oh.
and you pass it to somebody and it goes off the ice and it hovers flat and then it lands flat and smooth.
Ooh, yes.
Perfectly
sauce.
Love
sauce.
that
I
move.
gave it the sauce.
Oh, I
So
like
I have
it.
a family
Nice.
member,
I do. I like it. I
Eric
learned something.
Kleinek, he started a clothing company called Sauce Hockey.
And so you get really cool. And Eric, if you're listening, and you should, you son of a bitch. If you're listening to this, Tammy Jason might just get a sauce hockey shirt because how often do you see, well, maybe you do, up in Canuckland, Canadian.
Well, I see a lot of people with jerseys. I mean, people just wear like hockey jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what I was telling Eric about. So when you think of hockey, you think about what people walking around in a big, humongous jersey.
But there's not really
clothing.
There's not really cool T-shirts with little cool hockey slogans.
Their stuff is you'd love it. It's so awesome.
You would love it. And we're gonna we'll send you a link, or you can see it on the Primal Scream podcast.
It could take over Canada.
It might.
I think so.
He actually has the one of the he's the CEO, right? Of Sauce Hockey. He has a contract with the captain of the Russian hockey team that just performed
They're
for
in
the
Siberia
Olympics
right now.
We just won. We won by 1 point, 1-0.
Russia lost, right? And they were third. They were third.
Yeah, to the U.S.
Lost to the U.S.
They were third.
Wait a second.
Because Canada won
You won the gold
in the women's and the men.
In the Olympics, or okay?
I think Eric has some contacts with.
Oh, and I'm thinking something else. The America just beat the Russians in some other hockey thing. I wasn't thinking Olympics.
Oh, is it the juniors?
I don't know.
that's what it was.
I said
The World Juniors.
I read it, and you said, "What the hell is that?" I don't know. Something.
No, my wife told me something about.
I have a friend who's married, 3 kids, whatever. She overtakes her husband watching hockey. Like,
really?
She'll be screaming at the television.
Wait a second. Sexually? Or she's more aggressive at the hockey?
Actually, both.
Wow.
If I have to be truthful.
I might have to move to Canada. It sounds like there's great health care. It sounds like there's great health care up there. And nobody locks their doors, according to what was
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Oh yeah. Well, we do lock our doors more often these days, but I have to say that healthcare thing that they kind of go on about that we have up there, it's fantastic. You know, if you're having a baby, you don't pay. You get a year off, for maternity leave, all this kind of stuff. But heaven forbid you need to see a specialist. You will not see a specialist unless you are dying.
Really?
Yes.
And I've heard about that. I've heard that like in England and other countries that have what you would consider more socialized medicine.
Yeah.
That's when you need to find something specific. You're not going to find it. And some guy, he and his wife went to China because he knew if they went to China, they would get the specialist that they needed.
Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It is kind of weird, but how often do Americans need specialists? I mean, we're fat and we're lazy. And we eat shit.
Speaking of which, I introduced poutine.
We talked about poutine.
What's
Charles,
poutine?
which, by the way, if you're listening to this, Charles is Chuck Kavanaugh.
Yes.
So every time we say Charles, Chuck Kavanaugh. Think of Chuck Kavanaugh.
Okay, in Canada, Matt actually just committed a sin. He spilled his beer. We don't spill beer in Canada, and definitely not on our laptops. Like, oh my God. Emergency.
Thank God for the edit button.
911.
You know what? That's what's cool about our podcast. We just keep everything really relaxed and raw.
I have to commend you. There was no panic, no nothing.
None.
We have kids.
That's right.
I've actually dumped an entire pie on my son's head and then just ate it. And then really didn't
think about it.
Nah.
That's worse than the
Did not get
5-second
worked
rule. That's just bad.
I would set this just like this and don't turn it on.
Salt. Bathe it in salt.
It just ran. It's not like I dumped it on the keyboard.
I know, but you got all on this.
Okay, here. You know what though? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that.
Okay. It smells great.
Oh God, I love that. I love beer smelling laptops.
Dry, gross beer smell.
There's nothing better than a beer roasted laptop.
Are you good? You need more?
Beer?
More what? No, I have
Towels.
more. I have more beer over there.
No. I meant towels.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
He just cares about the beer.
God, I think we're great.
You are great.
We're good.
Thank you, Tammy.
I know. I've never seen somebody handle a situation like that so calmly.
Well, thank you.
Yes, that's great. God, you should see a musician dump a beer on his guitar. It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Well, you guys really, that's your
livelihood.
That's your livelihood.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my porn receiver. And by the way, Apple makes amazing porn receivers. They work great. I mean,
Hashtag
I never
computer.
listen when I get on my computer and I put up a porn site. Very rarely does it ever crash on an Apple. 2 thumbs up.
Did you see that movie just recently?
No.
Which
Which one?
What is his name? Jason Gordon-Levitt or what's
Oh,
his?
Don Juan?
Yeah. Did you see it?
I did.
Don Juan.
I heard it's fantastic.
You haven't seen it?
He wrote it and directed it and stars in it. It's his first movie.
Don Juan. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Well, if you're talking about receivers,
Yeah, he's a
centered around that.
big porn connoisseur, and what goes against that whole thing of like they say it's bad and it's not good, and then
Wait, they're
was
talking
way
about
better.
porn being bad or porn being not good or good.
porn like it affecting relationships and
We talked about that with our sex therapist that came on.
oh my, when was this?
It was-
that
I
was
just-
the Survivor lady.
The
Yes.
Survivor
Yeah,
lady.
right.
So if you haven't listened to that, Tammy,
I haven't. I need an education.
It is a
I
good-
will
it's a
listen
really
to
good
this.
one. and she's great.
wonderful.
She's
Yeah, she's
really
great.
fun lady to be on.
So she got into topics probably that.
Well, because we didn't we didn't want to go in and just do just a Survivor thing. We wanted to have a little bit about
Yeah.
that because that was
Yeah.
cool. But we were like, tell us. We didn't want the nitty gritty on her
Which is-
husband either. It was
yeah.
more of like, just fill us in. I mean, what's the norm? We talk about body image stuff. And
We talked about the over-sexualization of our society and how can she, as a sex therapist, deal with the people that are coming in when we inundate our young everybody
Yes.
with the ease of porn
Yeah.
and the sexualization of music and
Sex
movies
sells.
and everything,
It's
everything.
the thing,
And then we say, no, that's taboo.
Yeah.
No, you're bad for enjoying that. No, you're bad for looking at that.
Well, and
true.
it was a big thing for me because my oldest junior, he's in Texas.
oh, really?
He's in San Antonio.
He's
in the
rocking those
I was
Latino
just in San
lovers.
Antonio
Oh,
on
are you?
Wednesday. Yeah. Mhm.
for music.
No, for my 9 to 5 day
Oh,
job.
okay. If you
Tonight.
do music there nearby, I told him you were going to be on.
I
So-
actually did sing in San Antonio and represented San Antonio in the Texas state final.
really.
Yeah, I did sing in San
Oh,
Antonio.
cool. Anyways, he talked about the first time he had sex.
You can say
can't-
sex.
No,
What's
I was
wrong
trying
with
to.
you?
No, I was.
You got really nervous, like, oh, should I
No.
say sex in front of Tammy Jason?
That's not.
My
Oh, my
virgin
God.
ears.
No, I think we're past
I
that
don't-
point.
I don't
Thank
wanna
you very
annoy-
much.
I don't wanna upset her.
No, I think we're way past upsetting her at this point. The first time he had sex, because of the first porn he saw, he thought it was supposed to end a different way because he thought it was supposed to end what he'd saw on the
Right.
computer.
Right.
And so it just makes you go. That's
End
what
a
always,
different way.
always struck me as like
Right. Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that because we talked about how porn when we were kids it was like a Playboy magazine. It wasn't all this.
Yeah.
With
Or-
very
or-
bad storylines, though.
Right.
Well,
Or no storylines.
Or boys don't care.
I remember when the internet
Yes,
first
we
came
get it
out.
for the
you
articles.
could type in, you could like type in boobs into the internet when it first came out, and you'd still have to search and search and search, and then you might see something like, oh, I found something, but it took a long time to get there.
Yeah, like a Victoria's Secret ad, basically. It's
Yeah,
all you
right.
got.
Yeah.
I remember
exactly.
thinking, okay, my wife just left. I have 45 minutes. Maybe this page will load.
Dial-up internet.
And you would get line, almost an areola.
Close.
Oh, damn it. She's going to be home anytime. Off. Damn it.
Yeah, those were not
But
good
Denise
days.
was helpful with understanding some of that stuff.
It was really pretty good. I actually learned quite a bit about the ebbing and flowing of the women's libido and for guys. And Todd had said, it really matters to me. I have to get my wife off.
And she's like,
And she goes, that's problematic.
she did. She was straight face, like that's an issue.
that's not gonna
And I was like,
happen.
what? Isn't that okay that I want to satisfy my wife? She's like, that's not going to happen all the time, and that's a bad thing if you're always doing that.
so if you're
it's
putting
not
that
It's
good.
a false hope. And, and
if you're putting that stress on
Yeah.
you, stress
will
turn into constricting of blood vessels, which will
it won't
mean
do anyone any favors. Yes. So,
exactly.
So she was really good because I was going, I thought I was being a good guy, a nice guy.
Yeah, and when she
I can
said,
be an asshole now, and I'm good to go.
when she came out and said,
You're relieved of your duties. Yes.
yeah, she has to come out and get her orgasm. She's responsible for her orgasm. You're responsible for yours. I was like,
Own it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
sweet. So I don't
really
care
awesome.
about you.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Good.
You're responsible
the
for your
sex
own
therapist
orgasm.
said this is fine.
That's right. But everything else outside the bedroom, it better be about us.
All right, I'm
That's
down.
the rule.
I can be down with that.
I like that.
I can be down with that.
That's awesome.
See? And that's your ticket. I'm telling you. That's
All right.
your ticket.
So,
Where were we before this?
when was the day
Uh-oh.
that you discovered you wanted to be an artist of any sort, musician or whatever?
Was there something? Did you see something where you're like, oh,
yep,
this is the coolest thing ever?
That is a great question. Looking back, at that age, I really didn't understand what country music was about, but it was funny because it must have been a very inborn, like natural instinct kind of thing. So I went to a Hank Williams Jr. concert when I was 8 years old. And my parents, God bless them, because man, they were good parents, but they knew that I loved listening to Hank Jr. on the radio. My dad always used to sing him. So we went to this concert and we had great seats, but I was short. I was 8 years old. So my dad put me on the chair and I was standing on the chair, middle of the concert. Hank Williams Jr. takes off his shirt, lights up a cigar, climbs on top of the piano, and drinks scotch. And I swear to God, I never forgot this moment. And I remember standing there going, man, that is cool. Like, I want to do this one day.
I can't wait to get on a piano, take my shirt off, and light up a cigar. Woo!
Was it because he was just so relaxed and doing what he was doing, kind of, and just looked like he was in his element?
The thing is that, like, I love music that is not, like, contrived, and it's not necessarily, like, saying exactly what, people think that they
the focus
should say.
group.
And, all that kind of stuff. And like, he is a rebel. I mean, I don't obviously agree with everything that he does and says, but when he was performing, he truly is an artist. He truly loves his music. He was so into it. Yeah, granted, he might have been drunk or high when he was performing. Sure. But the thing is about that passion for the music and stuff, I think that I totally just got that the crowd was so into it, because the crowd was mostly probably high as well, but everybody around me was just so into it. And I think, when I go to concerts nowadays, that's, and when I'm trying to perform, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, just feel the music, be with the music and be with the crowd. I kind of tune out in some ways nowadays when you're listening to songs and seeing artists perform. It's just so contrived sometimes, and they're doing what the last person did. And so when I saw Hank Jr., it kind of inspired me because I was 8 years old. I didn't have too much to reference, but I really never seen that since on stage.
Awesome.
Right? So it's just this memory. You can
make your own, right?
Yeah, and it's a really specific memory. So I, on my album, I influenced a couple songs infused a couple lines from some of his songs. And so Highway 65 is like a rebel, gas station robbing kind of song. And I got to put in Whiskey Bent and Hellbound. And that's one of my favorite songs by him. And so I kind of just kind of infused all my music with that. And so in everybody that's influenced me, I try to put it into my music somehow. And, I don't know. I love country music. I love the rebel country music as well, like Waylon and Willie and all that kind of stuff. And I just crave getting back to that. The Eric Church is probably the closest that we have right now to good, solid.
He's getting pretty popular too.
Oh, yeah. And
he's kind of blowing up.
His last album called Chief, fantastic. He is like literally a rebel. He got kicked off of tour with Rascal Flatts because because he sang too long. And so, And
so they felt like he was competing with them.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, they had to clarify it. When you're performing on certain venues, there's a certain time allotment for every act that has to go on. And if you are over in that venue, say the last act going on, which in this case was Rascal Flatts, and if their show, because they have a set, right? And the number of songs that they do and closing and all that kind of stuff. Well, by the time that they got to the end of their set, they go over the time.
Impeded on.
Yes. But after that show is supposed to be over and the lights come up and they're supposed to be clearing out the building, they still have to pay people, right? To clean it up, take down, all that kind of stuff. So they get charged by the minute for all the staff.
Holy cow.
That clean up the building. So if the show runs over, it could be thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's why they were really
Isn't
mad.
that crazy? That's something that you, as a performer, when you start out and you're like, you know what? I just want to sing.
Yeah,
I got a great fucking song. I got these songs that I've written. I just want to get up and perform and
Yeah.
make people feel good. Okay, but before you perform, we need to talk about the union labor laws.
That's right. You got 42
And,
minutes. Let's go.
Right on
Wow.
the dot. Well, I'm sorry, but my favorite song, the first one on your album.
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called again?
Didn't know much.
No.
Oh,
That's
if
not
there
the
was
one I
a
was
road.
thinking. If there was a road.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's the one I was thinking of.
And that's the one that I like. That's about your brother.
And again, that's the making it real, and it's not contrived. And
Yes. And
What-
one thing too when making a record, it's an amazing process, but at the same time when you're recording it, it's like you have to try really, really hard to stay in the moment of it, because you have so many takes and you have so many musicians laying down tracks, and it becomes very like, I've heard this song 10 million times and now I have to sing.
and I hate it.
Yeah. Like
You
you're like,
almost-
oh my goodness, now I have to lay down my vocals. And you're just, so it's a very interesting situation that you
bet.
get in. And then by the time the album actually gets released, you've lived with this music for a year and a half. And now
Right.
you're like, but I'm a changed person and I have all this going on and I want to sing about this now. Oh, now I got to sing my album. And so, it's one of those things, and that's why it's so important when you're making albums to really stick to who you are and what music you really love, because the last thing you want to do is make an achy breaky heart that for the
And-
rest of your life you have to sing this song.
You're associated with this song that you
Sing.
just makes you sick.
And that's a
Whoa.
hard thing to do.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the film industry too when you started talking about those minutes, because I remember a friend of mine talking about every minute they go over production time at the end of a day.
Right.
They have certain things.
Yes.
It's like by the minute.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's mind boggling.
And I think, going back to the Hank Jr. experience, it's one of those things where in an artist's mind, you really have to fight your day-to-day life to stay in a creative capacity, because it's always like there's so much realness in the industry, in the music industry. You got to sell music
Right.
to keep recording music.
Yeah.
You got to do certain things, certain shows, and certain people that you need to network with to get airtime and all this kind of stuff. So there's a business aspect that you have to be quite savvy at, but yet you have to be the creative, out there artist that's always, on the edge. And it's a
Right.
you got to be kind of
You almost have to
creative
have
on how you do that.
like split personalities.
sure.
Yes.
With that very business sense. I'm an accountant, almost
Yeah.
business sense, ones and zeros. And then
Yeah, because if you're too far on the other side of artists nowadays, you will either be taken advantage of, you'll be exploited, you'll get a one hit, whatever. You won't have a full view of your career and what you do and do not want to do, and you'll listen to people telling you who you are. And that's one thing too, like when I referred, when I think of all the people that really influence me, that's one thing that whenever I'm singing somewhere or somewhere where other young people are trying to, want to be American
Break out,
Idol and
yeah.
whatever and break out, I find it really interesting. Either them or their parents or whoever come up and ask, what advice would you give her or him? And one thing, and I have to give Reba McEntire credit for this, because I met her when I was 13 and she gave me great advice. And she said, get your education first. And if it's what you really, really want to do, then give it 100% and go for it and just always, be yourself. And so I always try to tell these people, I'm like, the last thing you want to do is ever have someone tell you what kind of artist you are. So you have to remember to do what you love. And if you write a song that you really love and that they don't like, don't change a word of it. Because it's this thing, and that makes artists that we end up loving. What happens nowadays, in my personal opinion, is that we try to tell them how it's supposed to be. And we don't get those gems out every now and then, and that, we need more of that. And people love originality and they like
Yeah.
different takes on things, but then they want to homogenize.
yeah.
everything.
It's strange
Yeah.
how that happens, because you're right. People just strive for that. They want to have that originality. We talked about, the chucking the leather saddlebags for motorcycles. People want to have all these things that are all original.
Right.
But there's going to be somebody who wants to take that originality and then make something off of it. So
Well,
Send it
there's
over to
that-
China and get
There's
it
that,
made,
there's that
yeah.
Henry Ford assembly line,
right.
mentality of, oh, here's a moneymaker. How can I repeat that money-making experience as cheaply as I can?
Well, I think it's taking the originality and thinking that you can encapsulate that, where it's the originality of in and of itself that makes it unique, not the song that they did or what they produced. You know what I mean? So I think that's the hard part. People want to make a buck off of something when it's really the essence of it is not. You're not able to make it that way.
One of the best songs that came out in recent years that I heard, and it didn't make airplay or anything, but Vince Gill did this song, and it was called The Next Big Thing. And the album was, he's a fantastic singer. Amazing voice. And on this album, The Next Big Thing was kind of like a point to make against, the music that, you got to be this, you got to be that, and then you'll be the next big thing. And what kind of I see, and I've, been part of that national, it's the biggest country music contest, the Texaco Country Showdown. That's the one I was in the Texas State Finals for.
Right.
And I was in Iowa. I was performed at the Riverside Casino.
Oh.
I did that too. So it was fantastic. And so in this contest, one of the things that I saw was the judges choosing people who we already see on TV and stuff. So it's almost like they were trying to recreate another Taylor Swift or whatever. And until we realize in this music industry, until we realize that that's already been done, the public really does want something that's real, first of all, and that's original. We don't want something that's already been done.
But do you think that that's kind of the way it was back during Hank Williams Jr.? Everybody was, those people they were original, and that's what made them stars, because when somebody saw them, they're like, I don't want another Elvis Presley. I don't want another.
That's right. Who would want, like seriously, Willie Nelson, okay? This guy was his own creature, okay?
Yeah. How many other country singers have you seen with braided pigtails?
But even besides that, his music and his stance in life, period, the person who he is really kind of embodies that whole rebel thing you talked about.
Yeah.
He started his own fuel company, for God's sake, so he could fuel his
touring
bus. But he also tried to start his own gas stations as well.
And he also had to get out of debt with the IRS. But hey,
there's trials and tribulations with everything you do.
Mistakes.
That's right.
That's why I don't do porn anymore.
Well,
have you seen? Do you know Scott Takis? Have you met Scott yet?
That
He's
sounds
an
familiar.
artist that's a friend of Chuck's, and
that sounds familiar.
He does airbrush painting, and he did one of Willie Nelson.
Yes, I saw it on the Facebook.
I'm telling you, I was standing 2 feet from it at the Bruce Moore. I want to say it was Bruce Moore. Maybe a different painting, and I was just staring at it, and I could see no flaws. Every wrinkle. It was a side view with the American. He had a red, white, and blue bandana on, and I think it was the cover of the album, the most recent album he had out. And I was just like, Scott, I have never seen anything like that before. And it was on a piece of metal that you could clear coat and it could hang outside. Not that you would want to do that, but it was amazing. And but again. You could see that picture from 100 yards away, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's Willie Nelson." That's kind of what he's done for himself. He's really made That's why I have a hard time with some of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. Is that there's some people that are in there just because
they were around.
Yeah. Whereas I think I kind of have Willie Nelson on that pedestal amongst many others. They're kind of like one, they broke the mold literally. That guy.
Well,
there's
just
nobody
like
else
that,
like
just
him.
like
Some
that
questionable
picture, that
molds
painting.
too. So yeah.
The reason why you like that painting so much is because you saw every wrinkle, and every little crease, and all the
flaws.
all the flaws. Exactly. So that's what made him original. And when people understand that that's what people want to see. They want somebody that's completely original. They have their flaws.
Like them.
There's some things, like them. They want their. What was the last name that you said earlier?
Eric Church.
No, the crazy Czechoslovakian name. It was something.
The guy who had a crazy name before we even started the podcast.
Oh yeah.
What was
Paul Barbakowski.
Barbakowski. I mean, if there was a country singer that came out and said, "Hey, fucking, I'm not changing my last name. It's Barbakowski." All the fucking Barbakowskis out there, all the people with crazy last names would be like, "Yes,
Yeah.
Goddamn right, representing.
That's right.
And I'm going to be a singer someday.
Yeah.
We don't have to be fake. We don't have to change. We don't have to go to this way just to satisfy people.
And don't you think that is like, that's why people listen to music. That's why people attend concerts. Like they want to feel it. They want to be in the moment. It reminds them of stuff. And I just think that, painted on this and, sewn up this and making things look this way and everything. It just, the connection just gets lost. And it's not your own story then when you're hearing this person sing a song. Like back in the day, I mean, that stuff was just so good and just so heartfelt. And those artists were living most of that, actually.
Yeah, right.
You're right.
That's why it was real.
Yeah.
And unique.
The thing to me, the more sexy a video is, or the sexier lyrics are, it's like the more soulless.
Like R. Kelly.
If you want to say that, you can say that. I know there's an artist.
Robin Thicke.
There's an artist that comes on, and my kids, because I've said it so many times, when her song comes on, I'll be like, oh, because my kids would sing the song, and I go, guys, this is a disgusting song. It's disgusting. If you listen to the words, it's all about sex, and it's immoral, and it's nasty. Kesha sings it. It's kind of
well. I'll give you an example.
I would say it over and over and over again. I would just say I don't really like that. So now when she comes on the radio, my daughter will be like, "Dad, turn the station. That's so and so. It's disgusting."
That's right.
And all of our kids are so technologically savvy now. They'll get on YouTube and they're watching videos of different songs, and because there's a little playlist on the side, they might click on a different video that they didn't even intend on seeing, and pretty soon Kesha's on there shaking her ass and acting like a whore.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with whores. I like whores. But if that's what you want to be known for, don't be surprised when people treat you like one.
Right.
And it was really cool for me from when my daughter was like, anytime that name comes up and she hears her song or anything, she's like,
So
turn
funny.
it. She's disgusting. Thank you, honey. Oh, there's nothing a daddy wants to hear more than his daughter being a sweet little princess.
Well, and I think it also
love you,
it's
my
also the
little
way it's
princess.
presented, because I think is it Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus
boy.
with the video? Well, I saw the director's cut of that before I even saw the actual
really?
video. And it was just of her face, and I think it's in the video itself.
That's the one. Yeah, I saw a portion of that, I think.
And I think that video with her on the Wrecking Ball naked is intercut with the shots of her face.
because she starts crying and stuff. Yeah,
The director's cut is just her face singing the entire song and never cuts away.
That'd be great.
And she's crying. I was watching it going, why is everybody so upset? This is an amazing video.
She's probably crying because she thought about being naked on that wrecking ball. It was uncomfortable.
They shot that first.
I was going to say, that's probably why. But I was watching going, this is really touching because the song is really kind of sad. And so I was like, wow, this is incredible. What's everybody so worked up about? And then on the side, it had the other video. And I was like, oh. And so, I mean, I still understood the video, but I got a lot more emotional connection from the song from her.
The first
just
one.
from the first thing. And I was like, couldn't you not have done the second one and gotten across the things that you got across to me?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, is it just for selling that one part of it? You know, it's just kind of a bummer.
You know, and one thing that I like, you know what, Miley Cyrus, she actually can sing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what I watched this one thing on MTV. They had it's like Miley's World or something it was called, and it was literally following her through the recording of some of that album and doing the tour prep and all this kind of stuff. And during that whole thing, one thing was very apparent: everything is contrived. Everything has been planned out and staged to get that rise from people. And she had openly said comments about, I know what I'm doing, and, you know, and this kind of stuff. So it's almost like, you know, it's sad because they really do think that they want to go Madonna-like and shock the public, do things that get a rise from people, and it's calculated. But the one thing that she's missing is that 20 years from now, when she looks back at the music that she's created and stuff, it's like, honey, you can sing.
Right.
So do stuff that people will play and want to remember, and like, and they want to remember you for doing it, as opposed to that you twerked.
Right. And Madonna, and I mean, that's a good example because Madonna was again,
She was her. That was actually her.
That wasn't a contrived thing.
Well, that was
she was
a
being
new
who
thing. She was pushing the boundaries because that was a new thing. And this was like women's power, empowering women of, this is the first time that you can say, hey, women can enjoy sex and women can be the masters of sex. And women can be sexy.
Yes.
I mean, that whole...
Everything she was doing on camera, she was doing off camera.
Yeah, that was a first time thing. So, but when that type of thing sold, everybody looked at it and went, oh, let's recreate that. Let's recreate it. We can do that.
God, that's such a bummer. But have you heard about Jared Leto? He has a band.
Yeah, 30 Seconds from Mars.
Yeah, and he has his documentary is coming out called Artifact, where I want to say they sold a certain amount of albums, didn't see any money from it, and then the record company came to them and said, yeah, you owe us $2.5 million or something. And they're like, we haven't seen any money from our record sale. How can we owe you money? And so the documentary, he said the documentary started out because my wife and I watched the preview for it. We're both like, oh my God, we can't wait to watch it because we like the music is great and he thinks he's a good guy. But he was on there saying, we started this thing just to try to do a documentary of us making this album, and it ends up being a documentary about fighting this battle with this record label. And the record label sued them for $30 million, I think is what it was. And they're like, how can you sue us when we didn't make any money off of the album that you say that we made money off of?
Oh, yeah. And actually, ironically enough, a girl that works for me in Texas actually is really good friends with Jared Leto. And we're actually going to get a cuff of Chuck's onto Jared Leto. Awesome. That's our goal right now. But anyways, the whole thing about the music industry and stuff, you really should try and do a show just on the inner workings and like the payola that goes on and all the jazz that goes on in the music industry. But the thing with it is you are constantly in a draw. There was a good friend of mine up in Canada who had a great record deal with Sony, got his record deal with Sony, went on tour and everything. Every single promotional piece that he put out, every picture he took, every t-shirt they made and didn't sell was coming out of his royalties and his payments. So at the end of the day, when they're trying to renew the contract, trying to redo it, they're sitting there with lawyers and Sony's like, okay, well, he's into us for 1.2 million. And like, honestly, you are a slave at that time.
It was funny because we listened to a podcast called The Joe Rogan Experience.
All the time. We love him.
There's a guy on there who was talking about he wrote a book with 50 Cent and
that's right.
and Jay-Z. Along the same, where they said that here are these two, they consider themselves coming from the streets.
Well, 50 Cent was the other guy that wrote the book with him.
No, Jay-Z was
completely opposite.
He was saying Jay-Z was saying the same thing, that I came from the hard streets of this world.
Yeah,
and
I thought I
could not
everything.
I could not prepare myself for the viciousness that it took to get, because I think that's why they both started their own industry, their own companies, labels, because they were like, we're just done with all this stuff.
Which I gotta say, I'm gonna scold you. I'm gonna slap your hand a little bit.
All right, do it. I like that.
Maybe later. Now that I know that you're into it, now I'm gonna save that for later. Sweet. But I will give you compliments because on your website, what I liked seeing, and I think it's a new phenomenon, is musicians and people that with artistic ability saying, you know what, I'm going to take the internet, I'm going to create my own website, and I'm going to sell my own things, and I'm not going to use a label. I'm going to produce something that's really quality work that people are going to enjoy, whether it's artwork, whether it's music, whatever it is. And then they put it out there and they say, if you want it, you can either buy the album on my website.
That's right. And it works the same way. TammyJason.com.
TammyJason.com.
There you go. Plug that. And the thing is that I started my own record label as well. So Eagle Rock Records is the actual record label for the album. And one of the reasons why artists have to do this nowadays, and, you know, I footed the whole thing on my own. I went to Nashville, recorded,
You did that did you do that during college?
Actually, I recorded during every night, overnight during university up there. We like to call it university in Canada. And so anyways, but
same thing, right?
Same thing.
It's a universal thought.
I know, but I get criticized for calling it that. But yes, back in college, so I recorded demos. But then when I graduated, I had a demo. I had my degree, but I really wanted to do my music. And so when I realized I wanted to actually record an album, I decided that Nashville was probably the place I wanted. I wanted to work with musicians down there. I wanted the vibe. I wanted just to be around those people. And so I went down there, and it was such a fantastic experience. And the guy that he used to be married to Trisha Yearwood. He's in the Mavericks. Do you know the Mavericks?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, so it's a country group. They won Grammys and stuff like that. So, anyways, he's one of the founding members of the Mavericks, and so he came, played on my album, and was in sessions and stuff. He was hilarious, but Robert Reynolds, and so it was a great experience. I got to work with some fantastic people, but recording the album and stuff, you need that creative control. Right. And you really do want to, like I said, be the artist that you want to be. And so now a lot of artists will create their own label, make their product, and then go on the road, sell their album, on the internet, do all these things. And then they own the product. And so now the step right now is we're going to get it on iTunes very soon, but there's also ways to get it distributed by those record companies. If they like the product, they may change a couple songs, or they may repackage or do whatever. But if they like the songs, then they'll pick up distribution. It's low cost for them in a lot of ways, and then their logo gets put onto your album. So you'll see a lot of albums that they'll have like a couple record labels listed on their album.
Okay.
And that will be because there's a portion that the artist was involved with, and then they're either just picking up distribution or whatever. And then if the artist starts to fly and stuff, then there may be some more serious talks.
That pisses me off, though. I don't like the idea you have to work so damn hard.
Don't be pissed off.
Just to be...
It's okay.
It's not a rarity for this show.
You can be pissed off. It's a good thing.
It just bothers me why somebody has to work so hard to get their creativity through, because a certain group of people control everything.
That's right.
And there's so many aspects of our lives it seems like that kind of comes across in, which is really disappointing, especially when it comes to this like kind of artistic side of things. We all enjoy art. We all, and no matter what venue it's in, we all love art. No matter what it is.
How would you like it? I mean, if we were to put ourselves in Tammy's shoes, you and I, we enjoy doing the podcast. The best thing about this whole thing is we get to meet people we never would have met.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never would have met Chuck.
Yeah.
Which, if I would have never met Chuck, I would have never met you.
That's right.
Nick Rosine, I wouldn't have gone into CrossFit 2.2, which,
your back is paying the price, but that's okay.
My back is feeling good now that I'm just sitting down doing nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell of a workout today. But case in point, if we would have the same restrictions placed on us, if you and I are doing this podcast because we enjoy it and because we have a great time, we're meeting awesome people, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and goes, "Yep, you can't do that. We own you. And by the way, you own us $1.5 million." What? How did this happen? I haven't seen any money. Yeah. You and I are doing something we enjoy. Tammy's doing something she enjoys, and there's people that are trying to get this talent out there, and it forces us. It forces us to say, we're going to go a different route. And she had to put her music on her own website and create her own label, which I think is the coolest.
It is pretty,
thank goodness for that avenue now.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the internet, you would be enslaved to those labels.
Yeah. And I am so proud of what has come out of this whole scenario about having Facebook and even iTunes. iTunes has actually been very good about allowing artists that don't normally, they wouldn't have a place on a shelf in a music store. That's very limited.
Sure.
All the record companies own that space. You would not be on there unless
What's a music store?
Well, yeah, I know. They seem a little, but they have them still in Canada.
Do they really?
You know, at Barnes and Noble, they have a Tower
Records.
Thing.
I know.
Tower Records was a big one for me in California. I loved Tower Records.
I know.
It was a great place to go when we were younger. When we were younger, we could go into like the Virgin.
I know.
And we could just walk around and look at the different.
I found a huge box full of cassette singles the other day in my basement. I was cleaning my basement out. I found this big box of cassette singles, and I was like, I
don't even have the hardware to play.
I know. I have nothing to listen to them on, but I can't throw them away.
I bought Junior one of those record players for Christmas one year, where it's got a turntable on top. It looks like an old timey record player.
Yes.
Turntable on top, CD player on the front, and a cassette player on the side.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And so I can play them through there.
Did you find that on eBay?
No, I bought it. I don't know where I bought it at.
Sounds crazy.
You can get a Walkman on eBay or something. I mean, you can play a cassette single. It's not that odd.
Why you posturing up?
Because my back hurts.
Oh, so you're sore too
See?
from
I'm not sore.
CrossFit 2.2.
I'm not sore. I feel great.
Did you do CrossFit?
Yeah,
I got him
that
into
son of
it.
a bitch got me into this whole thing. He introduced me to Nick Rosine, who is an amazing personal trainer, and we did the 14.3 Opens Challenge workout today. Have you ever?
I have tried a variations of CrossFit, not an actual CrossFit class.
You need to find a box in
I
Houston.
did like the TRX bands. I've done
got
like
those.
all
Good
those
for you.
things.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
But the cool thing, which we'll say CrossFit 2.2, and make sure when you put it into your little web address, you spell out the word point. You don't just put a period because that'll fuck everything all up. So just put CrossFit and then the number 2, and then spell the word out point, and then put the number 2, and then .com, and you'll go to their website. And if you're in the Cedar Rapids area, you could go to an amazing place, and what Todd calls a box. I like to go to a box. It's a completely different box, but Todd likes to go to this box. It's called the gym. And it was a great workout today. And you know what I liked about today's workout? I don't know how we got onto working out.
I have no idea.
We were talking
it's
the
amazing
music
at how
industry.
you morph to stuff. Yeah.
We always find that happening for some reason. Go ahead.
The cool thing about today's workout and Nick Rosine, we were doing the 4.3 challenge, right? And this is what CrossFit, the pro athletes are doing this exact same thing, which is really cool. This is the cool thing about CrossFit is that people at their own gyms can videotape themselves. You could be a no name.
Yeah.
You could be some loser who's in great shape, and you're like, you know what? I'd like to do the same workout these guys are. They could videotape you.
Yeah.
They send the videotape in, and you could be a part of this challenge.
That's great.
So right before we did the challenge, Nick comes out and he said, there's a lot of new people. I don't want you to do this.
Oh.
I don't want you to do this workout like it's written down. Take it easy. I would much rather you be safe.
Yes.
I'd much rather you know your limits. If you don't know your limits and you're trying to push it too hard, I'd rather you just stop
Yeah.
and take it easy and be
He's
safe.
a good trainer.
He's a great trainer.
That's pretty
That's what I really, really liked about today's session.
Well, I mean, that's why we promote him a lot, is because we hear about people. I have friends on the internet always saying things about how this is bad and this is bad. And I'm like, you don't have a good trainer.
No.
My gym would have never allowed that to happen. I've heard of 3 or 4 different scenarios, not even people getting hurt, people feeling like they're left out or off to by themselves, trying to figure out what the hell they're doing, and everybody else is like going on without them. I was like, that would never happen at our gym. People are going to be, even people who just are there are going to say, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, try this or do that. I remember Nick walking up to me when I first started doing something. He's like, hey, yeah, you're going to probably want to take some weight off that bar. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, this is a pretty hard movement, and you're going to want to take some weight off and just go really light. And I was like, oh, okay. You know?
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks. I'm not a paraplegic now because you care.
Just you should have like a big heart. Just
Yeah, he's a big sweetie, even though he's.
Oh, shit. He'll love hearing that.
Yeah.
He's a big sweetie.
He's probably one of, if you were to think of a stereotypical classic alpha male Marine.
Oh my. Really?
So when I call him a big sweetie and I want to give him a big hug, he's just going to be like, oh, God, Matt.
He could be like that. I want to hug you and squeeze you
and hold you until you pass out and almost die.
Yeah.
No,
he didn't do 3 tours overseas to have you call him sweetie.
No.
Let's just say that.
Definitely
You
not.
know what, though? I think we might be close enough now.
Aw.
We've had him on a couple times.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
It
See, I can be
is.
sensitive.
I like the sensitive side. That's very,
Yeah.
See,
very
sometimes
appealing.
I come across as very aggressive and angry looking.
Yes. Well,
But I think the guy who won 3rd place last year at the CrossFit Games was his rookie year.
oh, wow.
He'd been working out somewhere and just got good at it. And we have some people at our gym too that I just watch them, I'm just like going, fuck, man, you're getting this down. You came in soft and uncoordinated, and within a much shorter time than I've been there, within 6 months, you are a machine. And that's just kind of always catches me off guard.
You know, I really like the movement that fitness has actually done to CrossFit and those types of things because, you know, it wasn't that long ago where this bodybuilding thing and like literally no focus on cardio and all this. It was very pathetic because these people were built.
But they couldn't do anything.
They could not climb stairs. They could not run.
Right.
And yeah, their hearts were done, lungs done. And they were just so heavy and, you know, just built. And
Did you ever see somebody smoke? Like they finished a cigarette and then they walked into the gym? I love that. I love
I
that.
know.
That-
It drives
I
me
have a membership.
crazy.
I have a membership to another gym
Oh, yeah.
because
Drives me nuts.
my work pays for it. But there's an ashtray. There's a huge ashtray right outside the gym. Mm-hmm. And it's full.
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah. And I was actually seeing someone at a hospital recently, and I saw people like they can't smoke on the hospital grounds, so they're like right across the street, and I'm like, really? Like
If you drive
really have to do
downtown
that right
Cedar
now?
Rapids, you drive downtown Cedar Rapids by the maternity hospital. It's on First Avenue, and you'll drive by, and there'll be pregnant women sitting in
No.
wheelchairs smoking
No.
outside of the birth center.
Oh, that's a fact.
No.
That's a true statement.
Oh, Lord.
My wife's a labor and delivery nurse. It happens.
That's just so hard to believe, though.
Well, and you can see the effect on capillaries and stuff. All you think about is that baby. You're just like going,
yeah.
oh, God.
No.
But, the hard
There's no
part is
thought.
that it is truly
There's no
an
thought.
addiction, because Matt's talked on many occasions about,
Addiction?
well, not an addiction, but
Oh, sometimes I want a cigarette.
he'll be like here going, gosh, today, he hasn't smoked in 10 years, 15
Really?
years. 15
That's
years.
awesome.
And he'll be sitting here going, man, today at work, I was really jonesing for a cigarette. And I'm like, how can you be jonesing for a cigarette when it's 15 years ago? But that just tells you the extent.
Yes, yeah. It's ingrained. Like
Were you ever a
wired.
smoker?
No. Thank God.
Because of the voice?
Yeah, thank God I was never a smoker. Long story short, like I won't get into it, but I actually had heart surgery that they never even discovered when I was little. And the surgeon said, well, thank God you're not a smoker because you would have died.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know why. I just knew that I wasn't a smoker. My parents, my dad, as soon as I was born and he had a girl, he told my mom, I'm going to stop smoking. If we have a girl, I'll stop
You're
smoking.
done.
And he stopped smoking.
Oh, good for him.
And he had to shave. My mom said the beard has to go if it's a girl, and then it shaved, and then he never got one
Like a
back.
Duck Dynasty kind of beard? Or no?
No, not that I remember. But you never know. It could have been Duck Dynasty like
They're pretty
before.
popular nowadays, it seems like.
Yeah, it was back
so
in the
tell me
70s.
how you met Charles.
Well, actually, we met on eHarmony. Can you believe it?
Shit, that's right.
Yes. And the thing is that the funny story about that is that I tell everybody that I actually didn't meet him on eHarmony. He was kind of in my junk mail. Because I actually was in Nashville recording my album. And I before I left for Nashville, I had a horrible date. I had a date from hell. It was horrible. And it was off of eHarmony. And I just said, that's it. I am not into this internet dating thing. I don't need to meet assholes like that on dates. I'm done. You know what? I'm going to Nashville. I'm finishing my album. And so I packed up, went to Nashville. I recorded about 3 songs on the album that time. And then I came back. I got so sick. It was when the H1N1 stuff was going on. I didn't get that flu, but I was really, really sick. So I was bored. So I was cleaning up my inboxes. And then I went to my junk mailbox to make sure I could clear it. And I saw this email and I'm like, hey, that's that really nice guy and he sent it like 2 weeks ago. Ugh. Like, well, I can always email him back. And I emailed him back. I'm like, hey, sorry, I know this is going to sound like a story, but you were in my junk email box, and that's why I didn't get back to you. And then
He's like, I'm used to it. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And sure enough, I think he's a great writer as well.
Yeah.
And he's creative with his leather and stuff.
Cool.
And so my one wish list item, and not to go too eHarmony on you, that they match, on 43 essential things or whatever.
I was just going to say 39, but if
39, 43.
if they do
it's gone up.
43, better.
Yeah, it's gone up. Yeah. It's the other, 4 that you'd like to know about. But they really did do a good job, because the thing is, yes, I went through a lot of assholes to get there, but the thing was, I actually finally got to the point where when I got to talk to people, I started really weeding them out based on like really what they're really saying and their stories about other people. It's a weird way of qualifying people, but it was how that they talked about family,
That
or
makes
how they talked
total
about
sense to me.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to if you're going to have a conversation with somebody and they're going to talk shit about somebody else,
Yeah.
you might want to avoid them.
Yeah.
Especially if they talk
makes
shit
total
about their
sense.
mother. If
And
they
that's
talk
what I
shit
started
about their
with.
mother. I'm just
That's
like,
right. That's right.
No, I'm totally
Yeah.
with you. I could totally see how that would happen. You're hoping, and then you're like, oh, so tell me about your best friend. Yeah, he's doing really well. He's making all this money. He's such a dick.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, I thought you said he was your friend.
That's right.
So I mean, it's like, are you envious of people? Are you judging everybody?
Yes.
Interesting.
And their general outlook of people and the thing that the most important, one of my most, I have to admit, I made a list before I went searching.
A
for
list
Mr.
of
Right.
You always make a list.
like these
I
are the
made a
qualities.
list.
These are the qualities I want in my Prince
I did.
Charming.
I totally made a list.
I
Oh,
did.
absolutely. I'm with you.
And I have to admit, so the boyfriend that I had before I met Charles, I made a list before I met him. But then, well, that's always on. Size
Really?
matters.
That's on a.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah, you should know that. But
Ladies.
anyways,
No wonder my wife hates me.
that's right. But you remember that it's not all about her getting off. You remember
That's
that,
right. Denise
Yes.
told me it's okay.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes. But the one thing, so the person before Charles, I had made a list, and that person pretty much fit that list. But then I realized, unfortunately, near the end of that relationship, that I missed a few important things on that list.
Sure.
And so then the next time I made the list, I said, one of the most important things was that the other person has passion about something in their life that they are truly passionate about, that they will understand that I have passion. Because it always kind of ended up, I had one boyfriend say to me, like, I performed at this singing contest in Calgary, and I did great and everything, and I won, and I was so happy. And we're walking through the Stampede grounds in Calgary, and I think I was 20. And he says to me, he's just like, well, it's really good, that you got that done now and stuff. And he made it sound like
Like it's out of your system now.
yeah, like I should be
Good for
happy
you.
that I got to that point and it's over now.
All right, now it's time to birth those babies.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what? And so he almost wanted it to be like, that's a nice dream you have, and don't think too much about that.
Right.
And so I wanted somebody in my life to understand that I can be many, many things. I got an education, I did all those things, but it's good to be passionate about things in life.
Sure.
And so Charles is very passionate about a lot of things. He's just involved in everything. And that kind of really offsets a lot of things because he supports me and what I really am passionate about, and I'll support him. And it gives you that space as well, because I found too, when I had people that didn't have a passion, that they were just floating through life.
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Or they're very needy.
And then it was just like, oh, like, can I go do this? And, and then they just felt either controlling, or they felt like, that they were being ignored.
I think that's a very important thing for everybody. I mean, when my parents got a divorce, I've been divorced, and when I would tell my father, my dad had a really hard time adjusting, and I said, Dad, you need to be alone.
Yeah.
People need to be alone. I mean, you married Mom when she was 17.
Right,
You were 18
right.
or 19. You've never
God, that sounds fucking crazy.
You've never known who you are. You've always done something either because you thought it would make her happy, or you didn't do something because you thought maybe she wouldn't like it. But you don't know if you're by yourself and you have to decide, or you have to figure out how to make yourself happy. Mm-hmm. You finally decide, okay, I love this. I don't love that. I'm really into that. I'm not so into that. And you finally decide who you are. And if you are always with somebody,
you'll never find it out.
yeah,
Ever.
because your parents are telling you what to do when you're a teenager.
Right.
And when you go into college, if you're with somebody, if you're got a girlfriend or whatever, you're doing stuff for them, or you're not doing stuff because it's going to bother them.
Yeah.
And if you marry them, you don't know what makes you happy and what makes you sad and what you don't want to do.
It's funny because Junior, I've been divorced as well. Junior's mom, she a wonderful lady. We have had discussions together because he graduated from boot camp.
Oh, wow.
And so we've had time to hang out together. And we joked around about the fact that we're more compatible now probably than when we were initially married, because
Funny
we
how that works
understand
out.
who
Yes.
we are.
Yes.
And we were pretty honest with each other, where I think we both did soul searching after we got divorced to find the fact that, wow, that was early.
You don't want to be there again. Yeah.
And you would hope that, I think you still hope in the back of your mind that you still should work for something and not give up on things. But I think you figure out pretty quickly that as a person, you really didn't understand who you were yet, just because you were so young.
I don't think
we always joked
anybody-
around with Junior too, saying you can't get married till you're 30, and the idea wasn't that we wanted to keep you out of marriage.
Yeah.
Well, no, it absolutely was. Never mind. Take that whole thing back. It was to keep you out of marriage because you didn't know who you were yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it truly is. Because you have to go through those trials and tribulations. You have to work at a job that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
So that when you get to a job that is good, you can be like, oh, I really appreciate this job because I was an infantry soldier and jumping out of fucking planes for 3 years. That sucked. I know what sucked is. I know freezing at night in the Army. That sucked.
That's right.
This isn't so bad. So then when you hear other people complaining at your work, you're like, hey, I'm going to be that little spot of sunlight. This isn't bad. This is fine. And then you move on to other things.
I worked at Starbucks for a while to get health insurance.
Mr. Barista.
Oh, I can foam milk like nobody's business, baby. Let me tell you. Anyways, so
Ooh.
Wow. You're going to foam it up?
I loved being at
just made me-
Starbucks because it was easy. I worked with so many kids that were just like, oh, can't wait. I was in college, gained my degree. That was one of my part-time jobs. So I had insurance. I had a part-time job somewhere else. I had a foster daughter we had just had come into our house. My wife was a saint, saying, she was the one who said we should do all these things. So she was on board. And I remember being at Starbucks going, this is so much fun. And the kids are like, oh, I wish I was at home doing this. I'm like, I have other things that I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
Life is so much harder than you realize it could be. And foaming milk and talking to people and interacting with people and having a good time.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. I mean, it really is how you approach your life that matters. And so I had the best time knowing I was never an infantryman, but I knew that things could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And that's the perspective that you gain.
There's a book. Another confession of mine is I love going to sessions where people they have those like power within sessions or Oprah sessions, whatever. They invite all these speakers and they tell stories or they tell their
I thought
autobiographies.
you were going to go Tony Robbins on me.
Well, I like Tony Robbins too.
Tony Robbins sucks.
I have to
He's
admit,
got a great smile.
I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A big smile. That's for sure.
big
But
smile.
I really do I like all that stuff. And I mean, you take pieces and whatever you want from it. But I like to see different ways of thinking. And I went to this one thing and there was a guy that gave us a talk and he wrote a book. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. And he came on stage and he told a story about being a young kid. He, got his driver's license and he was riding a motorcycle in San Francisco, driving around, hit a trolley car. It exploded and burned like 80% of his body. So this happened. So he was depressed. He was just downright, I'm going to give up on life, whatever.
Sure.
Got through all these surgeries, recovered. He finally recovered enough. So mentally he was just like, that it happened. I got to deal with it. I'm going to move on to life. So he decided he wanted to become a pilot. So he went in, he trained for a pilot and whatever, and did all this. And he had, I don't know where he was flying to or from, but got in the plane, he crashed. And he became paralyzed.
Jesus Christ.
So he was paralyzed.
I'll see you later.
Thanks a lot.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, Jesus. You burned me and then you paralyzed me.
Right. So this guy was telling this story. And then he literally was obviously depressed when he became paralyzed too. But he had the mental fortitude to actually get past being burned. So he had these skills already to try and get through this and overcome this. So he moved on. And the one thing that he always wanted was love in his life. He never got that because he was burned when he was fairly young at 18.
Okay.
And so he said, that's what I want. I want that one person, that special person. And he really, he had his doubts. I mean, being in the condition he was in.
True.
And the way that the talk ended was his wife of 7 years came out on stage. Beautiful woman. And she comes out and then
Give me all the
that's my goal. That's my goal. I'm going to be Oprah and I'm going to make you cry.
Tammy Jason's going to make Todd cry right here on the podcast. This has never happened.
I'm a softie.
We've talked about hardcore porn on this, and it's never even brought a tear to his eye. That should bring a man to his knees, hardcore porn. But no, it doesn't.
Yes.
No.
Tammy Jason talks about some burn victim,
right. That's
brings
right.
Todd to his knees.
Yep.
So what'd she say, Mom? The wife?
she said it's what he did about it, because his spirit was so big and so bold that she literally, his mind was amazing. He's a very smart man.
Women and men are so different.
Yeah, I know. You guys just, it's not about the mind sometimes, but it was just such an inspiring thing. And, the reason why I got into that is it really is what you do about it. And the thing is that many things in my life, and that's what, to talk about the album, but that's why, losing my brother when I was 16, sometimes you can go either way in life, things happen, and it's the way that you take things and the way that you deal with it that does determine your destiny in a way. You
were pretty connected with your brother, and that's you guys started out doing music together. And so when that happened, so what do you think was what was your mental capacity for that? How do you think you dealt with that then?
Well, he was actually, I think, a better singer than I was. He had a voice kind of like in the range of like Randy Travis, and we used to sing together, and we love
Randy Travis.
Yeah, it's so sad what happened to him just recently, but and so Jason sounded like him, and so we would sing together, and we always used to walk down the street and sing songs with each other, and and act them out, and we'd do stage shows together. We put them on for my parents and everything, and so that was our goal, and considered it our destiny. And my brother was one of those people where he was always supportive of everything that I did. And what's interesting now is like when I get on stage, the only thing I knew how to do was to make sure I sang with him. And so when I get on stage now, they say my name, Tammy Jason. Both of us are on stage. And it's the only way that I could actually get that to happen. And now when I write songs and things like that, I don't know how to explain it, but there's all of these things in my life that have happened since that I know that he's part of everything that I'm doing. And it's given me the power to get through difficult things. And it's such an amazing feeling to know when something just a horrible and unthinkable thing happens to you, that you're given this gift to actually see it in another light, and it actually empowers you. And, and I would give everything to have him back. But at the same time, it's almost like it was all meant to happen this way. And my parents have been totally supportive through everything. And, and I actually have to thank them the most, because and that is the most important thing. Like when I become a parent, I will always try to instill what the child loves to do, because my parents.
No. I
want to stay up
no,
late.
Tammy
I want to
Jason.
do this.
No.
I never had a bedtime when I grew up.
You have to go to bed, and you have to go to school, and you have to get your homework done. That's it.
No, I just did my own thing.
You almost got me freaking crying over here.
I'm a little bit clamped to see you started hooting and hollering over there. I was like, two times in 5 minutes, she's got me in tears.
Yeah, I had to go the route of asshole because Tammy Jason was going to make me cry. You don't make Matt cry. It doesn't happen. Watch this.
Todd was already crying.
Up and to the left. Wait, shit. Up and to the left.
Todd was already there.
Think about baseball.
Think about baseball. No, that's for sex. God dang it.
Oh, I don't know how you
I didn't want to
work.
swear. I didn't want to swear. God dang it.
I don't know. But you know what? The thing is that is some of the heartbreak in it. But at the same time, like, it's honestly like I have been so lucky. I really have. Like, there's been so many things that I can't even tell you that I've been in the right place at the right time. Things that I have no idea how I got there. Sometimes I literally am standing there going, how did I get in this moment? Like when I was recording the album, I go to the Opry. Every time I'm in Nashville, it doesn't matter how long I'm there. I make sure that I'm there on a Sunday night or a Saturday night that I can actually see the Opry. And I go alone. Like if I don't have anybody to go with, I go and I get my seat and I go there. When I was recording my album, Robert Reynolds, who was married to Trisha Yearwood now married to Garth Brooks, I sat there and I'm like, oh, I want to go to the Opry tonight. And Robert's like, oh, well, his wife now works at the Opry. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, I'll get you some tickets. So the next day, he said, the tickets are at will call, go get them. He's like, do you know who's performing at the Opry this weekend? And I go, no, I don't even care. I'll just go.
I just want the scenery. I just want the environment.
Right. And he goes, my ex-wife. And I'm like looking at him like, like it was like that moment with the guy on the plane. I'm like,
Man, you know what I like about you? You put your foot in your mouth as much as I put my foot in my mouth.
I know. I don't even like the taste
We
of
might
it.
we
But
might
guess
be
what, though?
lifelong friends.
But she's a great singer, though.
Yes, she is fantastic.
amazing.
So I go there. I pick up the tickets at the will call booth. I am sitting by myself in like the second row in the Opry, and she comes out, and it hit me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting in the seat that her ex-husband got me. Like, I'm just like, where does that happen? But, you know, it's just the things that like I really can't believe sometimes. And I just look up, I'm like, thank you. You know, and it's just those things. But the true test is to power through it. When those things happen to challenge me, and they have ever since that time, it's like I have to remember, like, okay, what do I really want? And where is my heart telling me to go? Sometimes it's been a little difficult. I mean, I moved to Houston alone. You know, it's been a trek.
Not hardly anybody. I mean, there's not a lot of people that can just say, I'm going to move to a city by myself.
4.2 million people.
Yeah. Just being by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
just going and following a career path or following a dream or going somewhere. Not a lot of people would turn that stuff down because they're so scared to go outside the box, to be in the unfamiliar. And by the way, I'm going to slap your hand. This is a perfect opportunity to slap your hand.
Uh-oh.
Because when I was looking you up and I was trying to find all the good dirt
Oh, yeah, dirt. Mm-hmm.
on Tammy Jason, you don't have a very large YouTube.
No, I know. We have to work on that.
You do have to work on that.
We have to work on that.
You have to work on
Let us
that.
know, because we'll link it to our YouTube account.
Yeah, because if this can be on YouTube,
I know.
and I'm pointing for all you listeners,
You two on YouTube? Yes.
I'm pointing at Todd and I. If we can be on YouTube,
if this fiasco
then you need to
can
be
be on-
much
Yes.
larger on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 snaps up, you need to update your Facebook
I
account.
know.
Because I thought, you know what? All right.
snaps
Oh,
yeah. I need some
All right.
assistance. That's
I'm
what I
really
need.
I'm really trying to dig deep, and I want to know what's going on with Tammy Jason. I don't want to look like a dumbass when she walks in. So I started looking all this stuff up, and I'm like, okay, let me go to YouTube, because she's a performer. It's gonna be on YouTube. One video.
I know.
One video. It's a good goddamn video.
It is really great.
Well,
you.
the video,
The music is
the
good.
video not so
Charles,
great.
Yeah, Charles was on the video.
Okay,
So.
well, Charles, stick
Not
with
his career path.
Yeah, stick with leather, Bow. Stick with leather, Charles. But the song was amazing. It was great,
Aw.
but it wasn't even the song I was hoping to hear.
I know.
So you need to work on that.
You know what?
You need to work on that.
I promise you right now.
Oh, she's
that
promising to me.
I will be working on that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I looked at your Facebook account.
Yes, I know.
What's wrong with you?
I know.
I don't even Facebook. I don't
know.
Facebook. Todd,
I know.
Todd handles all the social media stuff.
I know.
The last post that you have on Facebook,
I know.
2013, gentlemen.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2013.
I know. I
When?
need to get
When?
And you were thanking the Can Man for being on his podcast.
I know. Now I have to thank you though. So that's my next most
your
recent
next thing.
post, and I will start with that. That will be the beginning
You
of
know
the
what?
new beginning.
People just have to hold you accountable.
I think so.
You just need
That is
people.
correct.
You need people like me to say these things so that you
We
step
need
up your
can we-
game.
We need your cell phone
Because
number.
you know what?
You are my Anthony Robbins.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
Without
Yeah.
Without the huge smile
And
and
the
jaw.
huge, and the
And the
huge
6
hands.
foot.
Huge hands as well.
He's got huge hands.
Yeah.
I got big feet, size 14.
Oh, hell yeah, you do.
Word.
Yes.
Okay.
You are right. You are right.
But yeah, you need to step up your game in those two avenues.
I agree.
Those two.
Do you? Charles has talked a lot about his day
point.
job cutting in on his
Yes.
creative part. Is that part of it?
Yes, and
That's got to be a big part.
The thing-
I'm not
well,
trying to give you an excuse.
you know what the good news
but-
is? It's almost like I was in songwriting inspiration immersion. That's what I felt like I was in ever since I moved to Houston.
really?
Because the bad news is I don't get to keep up on my Tammy Jason Facebook and my website because I have a lot of work to do on all of those things. But at the same time, I have to tell you the material that I've come up with in this kind of bubble-like existence I have in Texas right now, it really has exposed me to Austin, It's exposed me to the Southwestern country music, the artists down there. So when you do see me attack the social media, attack the next steps in my career, it's definitely going to have a great flavor to it. A Southwestern
Like kind of a
flavor.
southern.
Yeah, and
There's not going to be any abouts.
about, you know,
About?
I try. I got raked over the coals
You're
all
down
the
in
time.
Houston and you don't have any southern flair. Nothing. No accent.
You have an accent, though. That's helpful.
I know,
But it's about.
it's really
about-
difficult.
It's
I
an
mean,
accent.
I
No,
throw
I love
y'all. I throw y'all in every sentence
you
I
go.
could possibly throw in. It is coming. I swear to God. But
I was in Virginia for my high school career, and by the end of then, I was saying y'all, and that's Virginia. That's
Yeah.
Let's not bring up Perky.
I just want to let you Perky.
It's a girl he ruined. He ruined a whole.
Oh, why are we doing
Ruined.
this? Let's
What?
not go down this. Let's not. I'm just going to say, I usually don't do
You
this
know
at
what,
all,
really
Tammy.
quickly?
Tammy, I don't usually do this. Let's stop. Let's refocus.
Edit.
And let's stick to. No,
I'm not editing
we're not
any of
editing.
this.
No, we don't
None
edit
of
any of
this
this.
is
This is all
perfect.
perfect.
You know why?
Let's
Because this is
refocus.
humanity.
The hands are up.
This
The hands are up.
This is what happens. Todd is being defensive, and Matt wants to roll with the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Todd's a cock blocker.
No, that's not it.
He's
That's
a
Don't
not
jump
it.
out of the
blocker.
truck. Don't jump out of
That's
the truck.
not it. I'm not jumping the shark. I'm just saying.
Jumping the shark. What the hell
What
is
sharks
that?
are you
You
jumping?
guys you ever seen Happy Days before? The
Yeah, I've
TV show
watched Happy Days. Jumping the shark. Oh yeah, he jumped the shark with the leather coat on. You don't remember that, Fonzarelli?
No.
How old
He
are you,
didn't.
Tammy?
He jumped the
I'm not
shark.
saying.
Oh, stop.
I'm not saying.
He jumped a shark.
Dude, you're
Listen, I'll
younger than
say
we
it.
are.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not saying.
39. I'm 39. He's
saying.
over. He's,
I'm 40.
wow.
I'm 43.
He's way over
I'm
40.
43. I'm gonna say.
Fonzarelli jumped a
I'm
shark.
gonna say 34.
No.
Wow.
Am I close?
39.
High fives.
Whoa.
Yeah, high fives. I knew
for
there was
you.
something about her that I liked, even besides her
It's the
personality.
Canadian air
Hey, oi,
It's a Canadian
hey,
air.
on the bottom bay.
and the alcohol in our beer.
And
That, my friend,
when you
is
say
not
our,
beer.
yeah, I know, but that's why I've been able to put away so many.
Yeah, it's piss beer.
Like, where is
No,
the
my wife
alcohol
is
content on this?
my wife is upstairs drinking Belgian beer right
At
now.
this point
so-
in time, Tammy Jason is trying to give me a vagina. Relax. Quit trying to demasculate me. Is it emasculate or demasculate?
it's emasculate.
Well, she's trying to do one of them.
One of them. It's happening. It's happening right
and
now.
she's-
Light
Stole
beer,
my beer.
but where is the alcohol content?
It's like
on
it's like
there?
2.3.
Oh,
It's really low. Yeah, it's tiny.
That's
It's
pretty
Bush
bad.
Light. What do you want? It's nothing fancy.
You can't say that.
Is there even alcohol in there?
Aren't we supposed to cover that stuff up?
If we were showing a picture of it, I can
Well,
say
you
you're
talked
drink. I
about
can say
it.
you're drinking a beer.
not drinking any
Drinking
You'll be so happy when a whole pallet full of Bush Light ends up on the front stoop
Yeah.
because we mentioned on the
My
podcast.
wife would really dig that.
Yeah,
She'd love that.
it could happen.
She'd be like, "Thanks for the fucking Bush Light, Matt. Where'd this come from?"
Hey, listen, I have Texaco Country Showdown on my
Yeah.
web. I have it up
Yeah.
right here.
I would have it
Is
up
that-
too, but my fucking laptop got rained on by
yeah,
beer.
is that like just one of a number of country kind of things that you've done, kind of like
yeah.
to get out there and do stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done, like, I worked with Sony on a few things up in Canada. I've done, I've performed in Vegas. I won numerous contests in
Next time you're
Canada.
in Vegas, will you let us know?
Yeah.
We want
You
any
should-
excuse
you
to go to
should
Vegas.
bring it
I
to
hate Vegas.
Vegas.
I hate Vegas.
We
but I
are
would-
going to bring it
Bring
to
your
Vegas.
show.
We are. We're
No,
gonna
we
do
would
it.
love to do that, but we're saying that I hate Vegas, but I would come to see you play for sure.
I
you
actually
should.
don't like Vegas.
Vegas is
also.
terrible.
I don't like Vegas also. Does
Yep.
that make sense?
Well, you actually, a good time to go to Vegas for country music is December. So it's a good it's a good month to escape here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
actually,
December.
Yeah.
So the
February is probably the best freaking time to escape
Yeah.
here.
You know what? I'll escape. We
anytime.
got to go to Aaron Bunce. Aaron Bunce, we have a local author who
Who's-
I work with.
Okay.
You don't know him.
No.
You don't know
No,
him
I
yet.
don't.
But
Okay,
you
yeah.
will
You
know
will.
him.
You will know him.
You will. Do you like to? All right. I'm putting you on the spot, and I hope you don't.
I don't
I hope
mind.
I don't embarrass you.
You won't.
Do you like to read?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because some people would be like, no.
No, I do.
Okay, so you like to read. What is your favorite style of writing? And
To be honest, it's not fiction. I like self-help.
Okay.
The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
I love Eckhart Tolle.
Love
I
Eckhart
love
Tolle. Love that guy.
the one that what I just evaporated from my mind. I'm reading it right now. It's Peace and Plenty. It's called. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's basically a lady that had everything you could possibly imagine. Rich, like in New York, just filthy rich, and then basically lost it all.
It wasn't the skinny bitch with the margarita stuff, was it?
Oh no, Bethany.
Why? What's wrong with Bethany? Ew. No, she started her own company.
All right, listen.
Come
listen.
on.
I feel like
I've
a
seen her.
billionaire now.
Like,
but-
yeah, listen.
Yeah.
I've seen her, and she reminds me of my ex-wife physically.
Oh.
Physically, she looks a lot like my ex. It just
Never a
she
good
reminds me of my ex.
Yeah.
But then when the way she acts, I'm like, oh God. I don't want to associate the way you act with the visual of my ex-wife, because my ex-wife is pretty fantastic. Here, see? Throw that out. I'll throw that
that's
positivity out there.
I'll let
That's
her know.
right.
But Aaron
I like
Bunce,
it. Aaron Bunce.
Bunce,
Okay.
he works with me,
Okay.
and we work in a job set that is very
Solitary.
yeah, sedentary. I think sedentary
Does
is
it
a
have
better
padded walls?
Very close.
close.
I meant solitary
This has
because you're by
padded
yourself.
walls.
okay, solitary.
what
Very
I
good.
meant.
It's solitary and it's sedentary because I'm sitting down a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to stay awake and you don't look at porn. Those are the two rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is too bad because one kind of does help the other stay awake.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's just me, though.
That's true. But socially, probably not good to be pulling on your pork at work. Anyway,
May not work.
fuck.
Yes.
what's wrong with that? Was there a better way? Was there a better way for me to say that?
I love the fact that you still catch me off guard.
That's
my
right.
favorite thing. Go ahead.
love it too.
Go ahead.
But anyway, this guy that I work with,
Aaron Bunce.
Aaron Bunce. It was a few
Thank
years
you, Tammy,
ago.
for keeping
That's
him
right.
focused. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Jeez Louise.
Keep us here. Keep us here.
Right. Air
Okay.
traffic control
Yeah.
right here.
Nice.
All right.
But Aaron Bunce works with me, and it was within the first year of us working together. You know, we were extremely bored because we're not challenged in our job. And I said something like, I've always thought about writing, and he said, yeah, I've always thought about writing a book too. And so to his credit, he spent the last 4 years working on a novel that is
About porn.
no.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hey, you know what?
You know what?
With what
I
she has to
should've-
go off of, she is perfectly on point at this point.
Yeah,
That's totally normal.
I should not be anywhere
not-
surprised.
No,
that she's saying this stuff
Very
now that
small
I've
room.
You
Right.
influenced me
Yeah.
negatively. I'm never going to recover from this.
Okay. Oh my God, when you are a huge freaking name and everybody's like, who's on 98.1 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa? Tammy Jason, I love her. Remember when she was on the Primal screen? Doop de doop de doo. I'm going to remember this moment and think, God, yeah, she annoyed me, but it was really funny.
That's right.
Okay, anyway.
He wrote a book.
For 4 years, he worked on this book, and I gotta say,
It is phenomenal.
yeah. And if you're not into the fantasy type genre like J.R.R. Tolkien,
Oh, really? He
Lord
writes
of the-
like that?
he writes like
my
that. His
goodness.
very
That
first
kind
book.
of themes.
Yeah, his very first book. It's going to be an epic novel. It's going to be an epic series. There's going to be multiple books that go along with the storyline. And his very first book, he had to scale it back. He had over 1,000 pages.
Really?
Super epic. All the characters, all the creatures, completely unique, completely new.
And let me say that when I was introduced to Aaron before I knew he was an author, and then when we had him on the show,
He's got great hair.
he's got a fantastic head of hair, just like Chuck Kavanaugh.
That's right.
You-
we were just
He's a-
talking about his hair.
That fucking
Yep.
guy's a sexy bitch.
And so I'm hearing them talk, and you hear people talk about things. It's like
Yeah.
Chuck saying, "Oh, my fiance is a country singer," and we're like,
And
"Oh,
she's
good for
super
you,
great."
buddy.
Yeah.
She's great. I love her. She's awesome." And we
Yeah.
hear the CD, and you're like, "Oh shit,
Oh,
I'm
shit,
sorry.
she is really
She's
good.
legitimate."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That road song. Oh,
right, okay.
Tears, Niagara Falls.
I never thought that Chuck was full of shit.
Yeah,
At
thanks
the same
for the
time, I thought
backstory.
when you hear it, I'm like going, okay, wow, that's
Aw.
impressive. And so then when I was same thing, and Aaron goes, "Hey, would you want to read it and give me some feedback?"
And
I was
you're
like,
like-
"Sure." Within the first, I want to say 15 pages, I was locked.
Boom,
and I
hooked.
spent my whole entire
So what's the
career.
gist of the story?
The gist of the story is, it's hard to say the gist of
Is
the
it
story.
about a little hobbit that lives in?
No.
No.
It is
No.
but that's the best part is that those are the pictures that we have in our heads and the things that
Right.
we think about, right?
Right.
Here is a book that right away you have different thoughts and different pictures that are forming in your head of things that you would think you would normally get.
right, yeah.
And that's why it's so unique, and that's
Yeah.
why it got me from the very beginning, because I've read so many novels, because that's the kind of genre that I like to read.
Yeah, and myself also. I'm a huge reader. So to surprise
Yes.
Todd and I,
Isn't that the best?
with anything?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a finger in your ass. Like you're not expecting it,
That
and
would
you're
be
like,
a surprise.
Hey, Aaron.
That
that
is
surprised
always
me.
a surprise.
Aaron Bunce, you're listening right now. It was absolutely not like a finger in my ass. I'm just going to put that out there.
Listen,
I'm going to
if
go
Ted-
against. I'm going to go against what he
If
says.
Todd's never had a finger in his
You
ass,
always talk over me. I'm going to stop you right now. It was not a finger in my ass. I was so excited and happy to read this book and get surprised by it.
I am just laughing.
It was like 2 fingers.
It was like a fist in your ass. Oh my God. Okay, I've gone too far.
That is not going to be on the front cover when it says New York's bestseller.
No.
It's not going to be on the cover as a
Primal
review.
Scream, like a fist in your ass. Oh, and
Yeah, this
not
book is
gonna
like
be
a
on
fist in
there.
your ass. No. But it is a surprise. It's a pleasant surprise.
Wow.
It's you know what it's like? It's almost like
yeah, it's a pleasant surprise. It's not
like
a
going
finger
on
in
your
your
first.
ass.
It's like
Yes.
going on your first date. It's like an eHarmony date, and
Yeah.
you meet up, and you're like,
That it
oh,
works out.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
she is exactly like her photos.
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah, you don't have to go
She-
fishing.
she is really pleasant.
For
oh my
me-
God, she loves to give head. It is one of those pleasant surprises. You're super surprised. It's like a right and a left, and a couple of 1-2 punches combinations.
And guess what? I'm going to agree with you, because if this book to me when I read it was like me on an eHarmony date going,
There you go.
Hey.
she likes to give head. That
Oh
would,
my
that's what
God.
that would be like.
Boom.
The
Yeah.
book is
Boom.
the book is that good.
Aaron
Andrew
Bunce.
might like that one.
The spirits
He might
within.
agree with this one.
Yeah.
So we might get it on this
Aaron,
one.
you'll enjoy it.
So did he publish it? What's
Well,
the
see,
deal?
Again, same thing.
a lot of artists are going down this road. It's super similar. The people that want to be discovered and have this crazy
Yes.
artistic ability,
Yes.
they're marketing themselves. And he was was super frustrated by the publishing companies.
Yeah.
He was getting these
Yeah,
rejection
they're
letters.
very, very picky. and-
So he decided to publish himself.
okay.
Just like what you did. You created your own labeling company,
Oh.
your own label. So he's doing his own thing, and his book will soon be available on his website. And there's a link to it on our on our website, theprimalscream.org. Which, by the way, if you go to our website and you go to this podcast, there's going to be a link from our website to Tammy Jason's website, and you can download her songs. I tell you, the
And
whole
her Facebook page, but she won't be updating it anytime
I
soon.
will.
Oh
I
no,
will.
she is because we were.
I have been inspired. I have seen the light.
You've been coerced, is what you've been. You've been
Yeah.
coerced into getting
You've
your shit in gear.
basically you've been shamed.
Yes, I have been shamed. Publicly
shamed.
shamed. Yes, yes, I have.
You are a
You know,
yes?
he should get on iTunes for their books. They
I
have
think
books.
he is. I think he's going to.
'Cause
there was a downside to that though. There was a downside.
You do have to give up a little bit of.
There's
money.
some royalties.
But
some,
you know,
some things. But
he
to
has
be
many
discovered.
more in his life.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So. And you just have to change. You know what he should do? He should make an abridged version. Just make a small version on there, and get people hooked. And then, because releasing it on iTunes, same thing with music. Basically, if you release it on there exactly the same as you would release it to a record company, then that product is already stale. It's already done. So what I have other songs that I have not put on that album that I released.
Are we going
I
to get
would
any
switch it out.
examples of these songs? Are we going to hear any? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I love your.
Don't you
CD.
have it?
I do. It's
have it.
actually stuck. That fucking thing won't eject out
Did
of
you
that.
spill beer
iMac.
on that too?
I didn't spill
Probably.
beer on that iMac.
Good call, Tammy.
Dude, if I would have spilled beer on the brand
Oh,
new
no.
one, I would have shit myself. I would have
Oh, my
literally.
goodness.
The calm reaction came from
Freaked
the
out.
old computer, not the brand new.
Oh.
Not the brand new,
I
crazy
see.
gazillion-dollar computer.
Yes, well, because I have other songs that I didn't put on the album, and I specifically did that so that essentially I have backups. If I ever need to switch the makeup of this album to make it a re-release or a new release, then I can do that. That's what I did.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
The hell?
Andrew, I'm telling you that he should do something with the novel. He needs to do something with it so that if a publisher picks it up and loves it, then it's not actually the full version. And you have to show them that they would profit from it being a new book.
It's almost like giving somebody a taste of something.
Giving
it's
them
almost like
head.
a little bit of foreplay.
Yeah.
I am enticing.
You need to get laid, dude.
That's right.
We have had a
Listen,
tremendous amount.
dude. I'm a dude,
So
and
am
we
I.
all deal with sex.
That's right.
We can all relate to sex.
That's right.
It is the common
Pause.
denominator.
Where are
The
we at
topic was
time-wise?
music today. That is music.
Sex and music go
Yeah,
together.
Right.
Listen, we're at an hour and 44 minutes.
Okay, we probably-
It's a fantastic podcast.
You know it's
we can
getting
stop.
tough.
We can stop whenever
Well,
you want to.
Chuck is sticking his head in the door.
Chuck is
We
sticking his head
probably
in the
need to-
door because he wants to know, is it going okay? Charles, it's going fine, dude. It's going good. I love your lady.
She's fantastic.
I might edit that. I might not. It might all be in there.
We'll have to get used to it because we'll be video podcasting soon.
And it's going to be a one-take wonder.
Be in there.
That's why we're kind of.
Hey.
We got the video over there. We got the.
Maybe I'll have to promote you on my constantly updated Facebook.
No, because you don't update your Facebook.
No, but I will.
You don't talk to me.
But you are my inspiration. You understand that now, right?
Okay.
For what?
For what?
For updating,
Like,
for
get
moving
going.
forward, for
Well, you know.
you slap my hands.
Yes. The cool thing
How
is,
can I
even if you
recover?
do it at home, I've been so turned on to new music,
Yes.
new artists lately from Sauce Hockey.
Yeah.
Eric Kleinek, he's got a YouTube page. If you go to YouTube and you type in Sauce Hockey, you go to their channel, they promote not just a clothing line, but they also find new talent,
Oh, that's awesome.
new musical talent, and they have them show up in, I think it's Arizona. I
have
think
no
I believe.
idea where they do that at.
And then they shoot the artist doing a song, and then
that's
they do a little quick little 3-minute video of interview. And everybody that he's had on, I never would have heard of him. I never would have heard of
That's
him
the beauty, yeah. Mhm.
on regular radio. And I saw him, I go, hooked,
Wow.
hooked, love him,
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
It goes back to that uniqueness, though.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Chuck told us about the Evan Stock Band, and so I got on Facebook, got a hold of them. You're hoping it worked out, and then all of a sudden, next thing we know, we've moved this table out of the way, and they set their gear up right in this room, and all of our kids are in this closet over here watching them.
Yeah,
and they
there's
are
like six. There's 6 kids sitting on that.
all
next on that
of
wall.
our children, and
They're
Evan
fucking rocking out.
Evan
They're
isn't even.
playing.
Evan he can't even sing because we don't have a microphone for him. So they're just playing just music, and he
Yeah.
is shredding this guitar. And my children's
drums are going
jaws are
crazy.
on the floor.
They're like this
they've
the whole time.
never,
Oh, wow.
They've never ever seen anything like that before. It was one of those things where I was like, I don't care if this is our last podcast. Look what we just did for our kids.
Well, the,
yeah.
the
was
really,
so
the
awesome.
really neat thing
Yeah, that's
about
awesome. Oh,
about
my goodness.
the drummer had said, when I was younger, I was influenced by my uncle, is what the drummer said, because his uncle is a drummer. He goes, while I was playing, I'm looking over at your kids thinking, what kind of influence, how much of an impact is this on your kids right now, sitting here watching us play?
Did he take his shirt off and
No,
jump
he
on
didn't.
top? Okay.
But my daughter, was like,
All right.
Dad, I so want to learn how to play the drums.
Yeah.
My daughter just was completely transfixed with the drummer.
Yeah.
She just loved it.
And guess what? If they were, it goes back to that thing though. If they were shitty, it would probably have been kind of
Yeah.
neat.
Nobody would like it
At
if
the
it was
same
shitty,
time,
even if
but
it was
I
a
was
kid.
sitting there watching it, going, I cannot believe these guys are playing this music here.
Wow.
And he did. I was telling him during the podcast that he did "Voodoo Child" by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, wow.
And I was telling him, first of all, huge set of balls to even try to attempt to play that
Yeah.
music because it's just so unique, and we all recognize it through Jimi
Iconic,
Hendrix,
iconic.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he again, you watch it, you're just going, okay,
Wow.
some serious shit because. First of all, he's got the guts and the belief in himself and what he believes and
Yeah.
what he's doing to try
He's
it,
in it.
and it's good, and it's good on top of it. I mean, fantastic. And again, Marlon, bass player, very quiet guy,
Yeah.
but he's
Yeah,
still
Marlon.
boom, 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 dropped
love
it
it.
out. And then Chris, the drummer, it was funny because they all, and this is terrible, they all fit their kind of roles. Marlon was a bass player who's kind of the foundation of the music.
He's the sauce.
Very quiet.
that all the other pieces kind of float in.
Very quiet, but a good
Laid back.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
Evan, again, lead guitar player, great guy, very vocal, talkative, funny. And then Chris, who is the drummer, a freaking riot. I've heard nothing but stories about drummers of bands in the past. And I'm like, every one of them kind of fit the same kind of motif I had in my head.
I was really
They're all very unique, neat guys, but I just saying that it was kind of funny that they all kind of fit the vein that you would think they might.
I love musicians. I love because they are just they're so unique, but yet, you get a drummer. They got certain vibes to them. You got a lead guitarist. They got certain vibes. Keyboard players, they're a certain breed of their own too, right? Like
really?
Oh yeah. It's like, you just always have them, but it's funny because they really do have to get in a world of their own when they're on stage, right? So but it's like I think drummers and lead guitarists are my favorite. I have to say the drummers are always my favorite.
Well, we still need to talk to Parlor City, but they're having a CD release party on April 4th. And they asked us to come down and do a video podcast from their release party.
Right. So we're going to do an on-site podcast.
It'll be
the GoPro cameras.
Yeah. And so it'll be our first one, but I'm really excited to hear Evan sing.
Oh,
it'll be one of our first.
Yeah.
It'll be one of our first video podcasts too. So it'll be some little trial and error probably. But I'm excited to see how it kind of works out because I want to see him sing and how it all kind of comes together in a live venue.
Awesome. You guys go do that, and then we'll go get you out at a gig. Potentially at the Riverside Casino or something.
If they allow us.
You were within a day's drive of here anywhere, we're there. We can make it in a day.
We could probably
Nashville's a day.
I mean, I got 3
that
kids.
matter?
Yeah.
I got to make sure that somebody's watching my 3 kids.
My what's wonderful about my 2 kids, they take
my
care of
kids are
themselves.
pretty young.
Somebody, hey,
They're pretty
you on
good.
the street. Let's go.
They're pretty good. I mean, my oldest tried to make macaroni and cheese without water in the microwave.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's okay.
But she was really good. When the smoke started rolling out of the microwave, she's like,
put the fire
she grabbed
out.
all the kids and she goes, all right, everybody, we got to get out. There's dark smoke coming out of the microwave. Everybody out the front door, everybody. She took care of everybody. It was great.
She did a really good job.
She did a really good job.
Yeah. But I'm not kidding, though. Within a day's drive, we could probably talk to our significant others and work that out. And we are there.
Mrs. Matt and Mrs. Todd.
That's right. They will have a good time. No doubt.
We could figure it out.
Have you seen the Riverside Casino rooms?
Oh, yeah.
I don't gamble, so I don't know.
Are you kidding me? The shower with the glass walls? Oh, I've been there, sister.
Wow,
I'm all over it.
Tammy gave the affirmative with the eyes closed.
Finger on the bottom kind of look almost.
Yeah,
Almost
those are quite
What
the
do you mean,
rooms.
the finger on the bottom or the finger?
Did I say on or in?
On? I think
Sorry.
you said on.
Well, when I got there, when I first saw these showers, and I get in, like I've been in a lot of hotels, obviously, not for those reasons, but for music and travel and whatever. And I walk in, and the only thing that I could come up with to say to Charles is like, is that how you guys roll in Iowa? Like I'm just like see-through showers into the bedroom.
And Charles
That
was
is
like,
hilarious.
yes, wear my cuff. Here's some leather. We are going to have a great night because we got leather and we got a
Bring your
glass
hair.
shower.
Let's go.
My wife and I the same way. We walked in and we're like, are we in the right room?
Yeah.
What is that thing?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Did we order that? I'm like, no.
It's pretty standard, I think, for the
it
old
is.
Riverside.
Yes,
Hey,
it is.
the next time that we have you on, because
Yes.
you are going to be on again.
Well, then
I
there you
swear to
go.
God, I'm kind of sad
Oh, why?
that you live in Texas.
Oh, it won't be for long. So,
really?
yeah.
In the area? Maybe?
Yes.
Possibly?
Yeah. Yes.
Matt,
That's
just
actually
got,
really
Matt,
good. That's
Matt and Todd just
exciting.
got really excited.
That's
because
awesome.
Yeah,
she's
don't
a
be
great
sad.
she's a great lady.
You really, you know
I
what?
really enjoy.
you.
I super enjoyed the podcast.
It's been a
with you. Thank you so
wonderful-
much. Yeah,
You're
And we're gonna
first
go
of all,
out for
a wonderful-
drinks and
a wonderful
eat.
talent. The CD is really great. But yeah,
Love
this
it.
has been a wonderful interaction, though. It's been
Well,
fantastic.
next time, because literally it was sprung on me.
yeah,
Yep.
it was.
So,
wasn't it?
yeah, and so I was in like I said, San Antonio right before this and stuff, and so if I knew more, I would have probably brought my guitar and done something. So next time,
You know, I have a guitar.
Or let us come to you.
I do.
No pressure.
I'm not going to pressure you though.
Cut it out.
What? I'm not going to pressure her.
Let us come to you next time I would love to come to see you play live.
Oh, I would love that. And
Well, and
that'd be
I'm not even
great.
thinking about the video podcast. I'm like, I want to come see you play, period.
All right,
If we
let's
could
go.
come and do that, that would be great at the
Yeah.
same time. But I would love to see you play live. Are you going to have anything live coming up? Are you touring at all?
Well, this is what we're going to be working on because, like I said, the 9 to 5, great for material. It has been awesome for that. But now the next focus needs to come on to my music and stuff. So there will probably be dates closer to now in Texas, I would say. There's a band in San Antonio that had backed us up in those contests and want to perform in the
Cool.
future with me, which is good. But there was also the band at the Iowa State Finals at the Riverside Casino. It was so funny. He hands me a card on the sly, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we need
Dude,
another singer.
I'm not
so
taking
let's
your
go.
room
And I'm
number.
like, okay.
Really?
This
Yeah,
is your room
so-
key? I'm not taking your room key.
Yeah, so I actually possibly have a band here already too. So we just need to work on dates and stuff. So it's all about focus. So you got to put your focus back on.
What
it
you need
now.
to do is, no matter what happens, you need to keep us in
I will.
communication, and we will promote the shit out of that thing.
But
I have
We'll talk about it on the podcast. We'll put it on the webpage.
one request.
okay.
You stay away from the monitors and from guitars and everything.
And the
No
beer.
spill in the beer. No spill in the beer. That's all I have to
if
say.
I wipe out all of your stuff, I'm going to stay calm. I will be
the
calm.
calmness factor does impress me, but
you.
the beer all over the thing.
Like he said, if it was the new computer, not in a calm
Yeah,
situation.
if it would have been the new one,
That's right.
I might have Harry carried
might have
myself.
screeched.
I might have. I would have squealed like a girl.
Screeled.
I would have squealed like
Yes.
a girl.
Thrilled.
My wife would make fun of me because I was getting a little verklempt when you were talking about those tearjerker moments.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a movie called Life is a House. You ever see that with Kevin Kline?
No, but I know of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I watched that movie, and during the movie, as it's getting more and more emotional,
Great movie.
I'm holding it in.
Verklempt.
I'm holding it in.
Yeah.
And I think I had a little squeak out at one point. I had a little squeaker happen right in
Squealed?
my throat.
Sure.
No, it was really tiny. I think only she heard
Yeah.
it, and she was
Yeah.
okay. And then we left. I held together. We left. And then I'm sitting. We're about ready to leave, and she goes, "Oh, I really need to go to the bathroom." I was like, "Okay, go ahead and run back in, and I'll wait here for you."
And you start crying.
She slams the door, and it is like, boom, just a fucking flood of emotion. Like I'm sobbing.
Dude, I thought you were going to say
No,
she slams
no.
the door and it was a huge ruckus and I was embarrassed.
No, I
So as soon as she-
sobbed. Oh my God, I sobbed like a baby.
You know what? It's so
Oh my
funny.
God. And so then I was like, and she came back. I could see her coming out of the theater. I'm like, okay, you're still together. It's okay. You're close. I mean, it was horrible. That's how bad I am. Because of the two stories you were saying, I'm sitting here thinking, again, something, I'm like, oh, you need to focus on something else. Because I was like getting tears in my eyes were welling up. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so sad.
It might have been 2 days ago that I was telling my wife that I was growing a vagina. I was just telling her how she came home from work and she said, "Hey, is everything all right?" And I said, "I just watched the Hunger Games." God.
You're such a fucker.
I swear to God, there's a little girl on there, and her name is Ren in the movie,
yeah.
and she looks just like my daughter. My daughter looks just like her, so I can't help it. I'm watching the Hunger.
Oh, so you're being serious?
I'm totally being serious.
I thought you were fucking with me.
No.
Sorry.
I get super sensitive anymore when it comes to little girls, daddy issue thingies.
Yeah.
I get so what is it?
Relatable.
Verklempt. I get verklempt. Time Traveler's Wife. I think it's Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, you told
Rachel
me.
McAdams.
So you've seen it.
Yeah.
I
know.
when there's this daddy thing and
Yeah.
the daughter and she's a time traveler and
Yeah.
I start crying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It just tears are rolling and I don't know why. I'm tough.
I'm not alone. I'm so glad I'm not
Funny,
alone.
I watched The Notebook and nothing really happened.
No,
last week to
nothing?
me. I'm just
Nothing?
kidding. I'm kidding.
What was that movie that just came out too? What's the one with Jeff or who's the guy? Who's the guy who was in?
You're gonna ruin the moment.
Nope. No Country for Old Men. Who is the kind of like the rough kind of looking cowboy guy who's in that movie?
The assassin?
No, the other guy.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
Brolin?
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
And so it's him, and it's another Notebook kind of movie that's supposed to come out
have to
where
see
they're
that
like,
movie.
and I forget the actress's name, but I guess it's like the most horrible movie they've ever made.
Wow.
Along
I
these
can't wait to
Notebook
see that
lines.
one.
Yeah, it's like there's a scene where they're like making a pie together, and he's like squeezing the fruit in the pan with her, and they said it's kind of like a ghost moment where they're making the
where
pot.
they're doing the clay
and
pot
somebody
thing.
blogged like, I will never enjoy a peach pie ever again my entire life because it's so badly done.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, so it's a terrible movie.
It's horrible.
It's not good.
No, it's bad.
Dude, we were talking about good movies that make us sad, and you brought in a shitty movie that sucks?
You suck us down these rabbit holes.
I didn't
all
bring
the
you into a
time.
shitty movie parody.
No, whatever. You talk about fingers and asses when I'm trying to say nice things.
I'm telling you that I am an emotional
Oh, my
basket
God.
case when it comes to daughters.
That's right.
You are.
I really respect that.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
All my points, all the mommy
My
points just
dad's
went
the same.
right
My
through
dad
the roof.
is the same. Yes.
All right, hey, Tammy, if somebody wanted to know, I don't know, anything the fuck about you, anything at all, if somebody wanted to say, hey, I heard this podcast on the Primal Scream and I really wanted to catch your show, where would they go?
They would go to www.tammyjason.com.
Which you're going to update soon.
And they would also go to Facebook, Tammy Jason.
Okay, which you're going to update soon.
I will update soon. And hopefully on iTunes within the next 2 months, the album will be on iTunes.
Awesome.
God, the whole
And-
fucking album is awesome.
Please tell us. Please
And
tell us when that
searchable.
happens, and we'll put it on the website.
And it would be searchable on Amazon.com as well at the same time because the distribution's the
Sweet.
same. And then hopefully some dates in Iowa, but also in Texas. So
Awesome. If you let me know, I will
so
let know.
excited.
Yeah.
So I'll let Junior know if you're going to be in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I'll let him know, and I'll
be
have him come and see you.
awesome. Yes.
Because he likes country music, and so I think he would love that.
well, I love San Antonio.
So if
Good.
a young stud-looking Todd walks up, because
Much skinnier, much
they got the
skinnier
same
guy.
nose.
Okay.
They
Our
got the same
faces
nose,
are exactly the same.
but he's much buffer and skinnier.
and he's your nephew?
My
His son.
child, my
Child.
son.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
So
he's
this
little
explains
carbon
the
copy.
resemblance.
he turns 20 here
a
this
hot
summer.
little carbon
All right.
copy of Todd.
So he's almost legal.
A hot carbon copy of me.
There you go.
Perfect. You
It's
fucker.
great.
I love you.
Yeah, drop
almost
50 pounds. Boom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's Junior.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he lives there?
He's there.
stationed
He's
there.
stationed there.
He's in the Air Force.
Fort Sam Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's great.
So I'll tell
Okay.
him, and I'll say, hey, when she's done with her sets, you go up and say hi
You
and say,
walk up.
I'm Junior, and she will know
Yeah.
exactly who you are.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no,
I'll
that'd
totally
be
do that.
great.
He'll love stuff like that.
And then
yeah.
and then Junior needs to say, sign my breast. Will you sign my sign my breast? No.
I
Now
carry a Sharpie at all times, so
now
I'll,
it's-
I'll sign it.
That's
if he
what all
walks out.
celebrities need to say.
Now it's going to happen. I'm going to make sure he absolutely does exactly that.
He needs to pull up his shirt, sign my breast.
Gladly.
My dad will love it.
And get a
Yeah.
picture of it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do it.
Todd, obviously there's people listening. Obviously people are listening to this right now, but if they were to tell their friends, and don't fuck up the Stitcher thing, if they were to tell their friends, hey, I got this great podcast. It's really enjoyable. Tammy Jason was on. You love her music? I love her music. You should go to this website. How could somebody who doesn't know about us follow us?
Please go to our website, which is theprimalscream.org. And while you're on there, you can see all of our past podcasts. You can see a lot of links to the things that we love, authors, 2.2, CrossFit Gym, all those wonderful things. But while you're there, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. Also, you can follow us on, is it Sketcher?
You're playing with my balls
I'm
right
sorry,
now.
Stitcher.
Stitcher.
And iTunes. That's
There you
probably
go.
the easiest way if you want to listen to us while you're driving to work or you're cleaning around the house.
There's
that
a lot
kind
of people
thing.
on Android phones now because that fucking Samsung
Yeah.
4S is kick ass.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And if you got one of those sons of bitches, get Stitcher because it'll tell you, boom, automatically when our new podcast comes out.
Exactly. And if you said it, you will get an automatic download as well. So that's a great thing too. So that's the fastest way to get a hold of us, people. We
Where
appreciate
else? Where
everybody.
else?
Oh,
Where else? Where else? We're going to
God,
be doing
you're
it
such a
live
baby.
pretty soon.
You're
pretty
such a
soon.
baby.
Dude, it's within like
Weeks.
two, three
You're right.
podcasts. I'm so excited. Pre-ejaculation. I'm so excited.
Okay, so you can follow us on YouTube.
That's right. Video
starting
coming.
on
Video soon.
the second week in April.
You're not just going to have to look at a monkey's face.
You will be able to watch
all of us.
Todd and the guest.
That's right.
You won't see my fucking face on there.
No. Matt, you're Todd, jackass. You said you're going to see Todd's face. I'm Matt.
What did I say?
You're going to
Todd's
see
face?
Todd's face. You're not
Edit?
going to see Todd's face.
All
You're going
right.
to see Matt's face.
Okay.
You're going to see the guest's face. You're going to be like, yeah, I love this shit. Where's Todd? That's what you're going to say.
You'll
That's
see
probably what
you'll
you're
see
gonna
my
say.
hand movements. You'll see
Yeah,
my
you'll
hand
see-
movements off to the side.
Todd's very.
I'll have hand. I'm very
animated.
I
He's
do
very
a lot of
animated.
this. Stop talking. Give me a second, somebody. But hey, listen, we have appreciated all the downloads recently. Denise Stapley had a huge hit. We still
she fucking blew away every other podcast so far.
Nicole and Obamacare Affordable Care Act is still way up there for downloads.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We appreciate everybody following us and liking us and all those wonderful
What about the other
things.
button you haven't mentioned yet? You haven't mentioned in the past few podcasts, which I caught on to. We haven't mentioned it because we're trying not to be, financial dickheads. But if you want to donate to the Primal Scream podcast, there's a donation button on our website. And that kind of thing helps with cameras and bringing up the level of quality for the podcast. So if you want to hit the donation button, that stuff goes to our overhead. It helps with equipment.
Anything else past that will be donated to a local charity.
That's correct.
Yep. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. We try to take care of other people. I don't want to be rich. I don't need to be rich by this stuff. We can help other people.
Exactly.
So I'm Matt.
I am Todd.
And thank you, Tammy Jason, for being on tonight.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Oh,
I'm a changed woman.
just a beautiful, beautiful.
We're not
human
sure
being.
what direction yet, but
I
she's
just
changed.
Really liked Tammy, just as a person, just so enjoyable. There's some people that are, they come in and they're like, she wasn't.
It doesn't happen very often.
She wasn't one
First
of
of
those.
all, but at the same time, you've
That's
talked
true.
about in the past, or you talked about on this podcast, about the opportunity of people we've met here.
Yeah.
It's been very rare. We have gotten very
jewel.
lucky
A jewel.
to meet people whose heart and the things that they want to do with the world is from a really pure place, and I feel really,
I love it.
really lucky to be part of that.
Very
So,
blessed.
Yep.
So thank you very much
Well,
for being
thank
on
you.
tonight.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tammy.
Thanks.
And that's it. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Good night.